welcome to the meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the City of Hendersonville, Tennessee. It is August 26, 2025. We are right at 7 p.m. We're going to begin our meeting as we typically do. That's with a prayer and a pledge. And tonight, providing our prayer, is Jerry Mall. He is an ordained minister at First Baptist Church in Hendersonville. He is also the founder and CEO of Living Sent Ministries. Jerry, we appreciate very much what you and what your organization does, and look forward to hearing from you tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Before I pray, I'm going to look around the room and see if there's any prayer requests that anyone may have that I don't have. Spoken, unspoken? You have an unspoken prayer request? You can.
I'm having cancer surgery for the 10th time on Thursday. I would like prayer. Thank you.
And what's your first name, ma'am?
Lisa Bravo.
Anybody else? All right. I'm going to do this a couple of ways. I'm going to do these. I've got a couple of prayer requests for people I'd like to make, including Lisa. Then I'm going to offer a prayer for our city. So we're going to do this in kind of two steps. So if you would, if you bow your heads with me, we'll get started. Father, you are the great healer. All things are possible with you. There's so many things that you've done through miraculous healings to help people. And Lord, I petition you tonight for Brent Hunter, who is dealing with a difficult situation right now, he and his family. Lord, I lift him up to you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. I ask for healing for him, for comfort and peace for his family, Lord, through this process. I also want to lift up Lisa to you tonight, who just told us that she's dealing with cancer. Lord, you're the great healer. I petition you in her name that you provide healing for her and peace and comfort with her family. In Christ's name I pray. I want to thank you all for having the opportunity to pray with you tonight, to lift up this meeting in prayer and also to lift up our city. What I wanted to share with you as I thought about reflecting what I'd say tonight, you know that cities are mentioned over 1,200 times in the Bible. Over 1,200 times in the Bible. You see, Hendersonville is just not important to you and I. It's important to God, the creator of all things. So it matters to God as well. So with that, let's pray again. Heavenly Father, you show us in your word that cities are places of culture, worship, and growth. We know that you love cities because you send missionaries to them, guiding your people to make a difference. In Genesis, you called us to steward and fill the earth, and cities are a part of that mission. Lord, we ask that the residents of Hendersonville seek the peace and prosperity and well-being of this wonderful city. Bless our elected leaders and public servants with wisdom, integrity, and vision. May they lead in a way that makes Hendersonville a shining light on a hill for all of Tennessee and the world to see. We ask all of these things in the mighty and precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jerry. Again, Jerry is the founder and CEO of Living Sent Ministries. Thank you very much, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to entertain a motion that we accept the agenda. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Sassy. I do need y'all to acknowledge that on page 2, item number 6, that we are waiving the 2-week rule there. We don't have to make a separate motion, but just need y'all to acknowledge that. Alderman Bergdorf.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Thank you very much. I would like to, we have a room full tonight, and in consideration of our constituents here, I think that most of the people that I've spoken to want to speak to number 2, Ordinance and Resolutions number 2. I would motion we move that up to number 1 and replace number 1 to put in number 2 spot.
Okay, so we have a motion from Alderman Bergdorf, a second from Alderman Dixon, and I want to make sure I understand what you're talking about. Number 2 is Resolution 2025-28?
Correct.
Okay, so we would replace 1 with 2 and 2 with 1?
Correct.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Any other discussion or any other proposals on the agenda? So now we're back on the main motion of accepting the agenda as it was sent to you with that one change. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we're on to presentation, so we need Kathy Pascal. And you are back again. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We look forward to what you are presenting every time you're here.
Oh, thank you so much. I've missed seeing you guys with the change in our presentation for our Beautification Awards. We're doing that every 2 months now instead of every month. But I did want to update you just a little bit. We haven't been here, but we've been very busy, and I wanted you to see that since we were here last, we have been maintaining. We purchased the flowers out front of City Hall and bought some for the inside, and we've had a great volunteer. Chris Evans has been maintaining those for us, so that's just one of the things we've done. We've continued to work with the student volunteers that are seeking their service hours for the Tennessee Promise, so been keeping the trash picked up around some of the areas, the gazebo area. And then also worked with some volunteers on putting together some more of the planters that we had placed out at the fence over at Lincoya. And so we did some more and placed them here at New Shackle Island and Forest Retreat Road, where you turn into Costco there. So all of those shoppers get to enjoy that. So the planters have really continued to get good comments and compliments. In fact, WKRN Channel 2 called the city and asked about them, and they do a segment for, I think it's a good news report, and so they requested that we come in and speak with them about the planters and what had inspired that, and so we did that back in June. And then this project is one that we're really excited about having completed, some before and afters here. The walkway down to the gazebo needed some attention there, so beautiful Hendersonville had the gravel delivered. We sprayed first of all and killed all the weeds. Then we had the delivery made, and we, that was Robbie and Chris and I went down and shoveled the gravel and put down the landscape fabric, and then we sprayed it, and you can see the difference there, I think. It looks really nice. So passed by yesterday, and there was a whole family down at the gazebo having their photographs made. So we have continued to do the Beautification Awards for the neighbors and businesses, and tonight we have our business winner, and that is Miss Heather Smith. And Heather, if you'll come on up. She's with Volunteer Bank at 530 New Shackle Island, and we appreciate what you've done. It looks so nice there. Thank you so much, and if you'll just stand right up here for us, that would be great. We'll take your picture in just a minute.
You can't go yet.
No, you stay right there. But that is beautiful, and you can see it from the road there. It looks so nice. Then on Ward 1 at 107 Shady Drive, David McGee, he has done a beautiful job there. There's a big old, well, I can't really see there, but it is gorgeous. So on Ward 3 at 1048 Mansker Farms, that's Miss Mary Lucy and Kevin Terry, who is her son. She's 95 years old, and she was just really excited about receiving this award, and they do a great job at maintaining and beautifying that area. So we have Ward 4 at 213 Cherokee Road, Chuck and Audrey Vance, and that really the picture doesn't do it justice because it is gorgeous. It is just really pretty there. And they've lived there for 35 years, and we're very happy to be recognized. At Ward 5 at 109 Bluegrass Circle is Bailey Blackman, and that's a gorgeous home. Look at that lawn, and you guys know how hot it's been. It has been a lot of hard work to maintain and keep lawns looking this good throughout the last few months. Ward 6 at 148 Wessington is Donovan and Christy Riggins, and you can see the remodel on their house. They've painted. The landscaping is just beautiful, and again, their lawn is lush and green. So if you would please, all of you, you're out and about in your neighborhood, please send in nominations. We do need them. We want to recognize those that are doing a good job, and you live in your neighborhood, you know what's going on, so please submit those nominations to us at beautiful@hvilletn.org.
So we have a picture.
We're going to get a picture. Thank you.
I need Clark and Daryl to join me, please. So, this is Derek Bolden, and this is Clark Flatt. Oh, Daryl and Clark, sorry about that. I want to read something for you. Whereas suicide is a tremendous form of suffering and one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and community can experience. And whereas after the untimely passing of their 16-year-old son, Jason, in 1997, Clark and Connie Flatt started the Jason Foundation, a nonprofit 501(c) organization to help bring awareness to and aid in the prevention of youth suicide. And whereas the Jason Foundation has been headquartered in Hendersonville for its entire life of 25 years, and the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network Advisory Council has been appointed to implement the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention, and whereas in 2007, Tennessee became the first of 21 states to pass the Jason Flatt Act, the most comprehensive suicide prevention law in the country. And whereas 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones. And whereas everyone can play a role in suicide prevention by learning and sharing the risk and warning signs, decreasing the stigma as a means to promote help seeking by talking about suicide, using safe messaging, and sharing the available resources. Now, therefore, I, Jamie Clary, Mayor of the City of Hendersonville, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim September 2025 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and September 9th, 2025 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Day throughout the City of Hendersonville. And I appreciate you both being here, and I would like for you all, if you could spend a few minutes telling us sort of what your role is with this, and I appreciate it very much. So this is for Clark, and this is for Daryl. Thank you all so much. Okay.
Hello, my name is Daryl Bolden, and I am the Mid-Cumberland Regional Director with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. And our advisory council is appointed by the governor to implement the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Plan. And we're a statewide organization. We have staff across the state in 10 regions, and we work on suicide prevention trainings. We work on trainings on how to intervene if someone has a crisis. And we work on providing post-prevention resources to organizations and schools and individuals. We've been around a little over 20 years, and we're happy to be here doing the work. This county is in my region. I have 9 counties, and so every day we're out there working on suicide prevention. There's still a lot of work to do. We hope we're saving lives, and yeah, that's the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network.
It's an honor to be in front of you guys. Jason Foundation started out 28 years ago, October the 1st. And we're proud to call Hendersonville home. When we started, the reason we are where we are here today is because of the good folks of Hendersonville and then Sumner County. If it wasn't for you guys of dinners and cakewalks and things that were legal back then, we wouldn't be where we are here today. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support still today. We're proud to call Hendersonville, Tennessee, but we go places, they say, oh, you're from Nashville. I said, no, we're from Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're proud you're our corporate home. We started out very small in the back of my insurance office. I would like our staff that's here tonight to stand up. Would y'all stand up? We've got a lot of our corporate office. On Volunteer Drive, I'll do a shameless commercial. You come by and visit us, and you get a free dog or cat next door. But we are proud to call Henderson. We went from working on a kitchen table that we still have at our corporate office today. A kitchen table, and Casey was part of our first teen board. That shows you how old I'm getting. She was part of our. We've gone from that humble thing to now we're one of the leading organizations in the nation. We have 191 offices across the nation. We operate in all 50 states. In Tennessee, we train about 60,000 teachers a year. But we're proud that our beginnings here, a few years back, our board got big and tried to get us to move to Nashville. That's when we built. And I knew we would never move once we built. And this is home, and it's going to stay home. I do appreciate Suicide Prevention Month is very important, but every month is Suicide Prevention Month. I don't want this to happen to any other family, what happened to ours. You lose a son or daughter, I don't care how you lose them, but you lose them to suicide, it just tears your heart out. Now suicide in Tennessee is the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 44. 10 to 44, and it's getting worse, my friends. It's getting worse. We appreciate what you do to help us. We appreciate the good folks at Hendersonville, Sumner County in Tennessee. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are today. And together, as our friends at TSPN said, we are making a difference. We are saving lives. Suicide is very preventable if you know what to look for and how to respond. Thank you for this proclamation. This means a lot to us. That's why we have so many of my staff here tonight. For you to recognize us for being here and recognize Suicide Prevention Month. So God bless you and thank you. And Jamie, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Clerk,
So
can we
much.
take a picture with you, with both of y'all and your staff?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Where's a good place, Casey? Okay.
Big guy's my bodyguard, by the way.
Okay.
There we go. All right, you guys all ready?
Awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. See you later. Thank you. You good? Next, we have a public hearing to hear comments on ordinance 2025-13. This is an ordinance rezoning 26 acres located on Rockland Road for mixed commercial to industrial plan development and approving the Lincoln Rockland Commercial Plaza Comprehensive Development Plan to govern the development of that property. We have a couple people signed up, but I'm going to go ahead and read the rules for the two public hearings and for citizen comments. Speakers must identify themselves by name and address. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per person, which time is not transferable to other speakers. All comments are to be directed to the presiding officer, not to the alderman, city staff, or other members of the public. Comments must address issues, not individuals or personalities. Personal attacks shall not be tolerated. Comments may support or oppose particular issues or measures, but the motives of those with differing views shall not be questioned or attacked. Malicious comments will not be allowed. Speeches for or against particular candidates running for public office will not be allowed. First, we have Barry Hardwick on Apple Valley.
Good evening. My name is Barry Hardwick. I live at 202 Applewood Valley. I am a member of the Planning Commission, but I'm not here tonight as a planning commissioner, but here as a citizen to speak in favor of this particular project. This is a great quality Class A industrial project that can compare with any industrial property anywhere in Middle Tennessee. So what is being built is a good quality, not a second class, but a Class A project. This project will tie in well with what is being developed on Molly Walton and Free Hill Industrial Park, and so it will fit well there on the west side of the city. There is a lack of quality industrial product to be leased, so if you're a small business in this city and you're looking for industrial product, there is very little product to be leased. So this is a project, and it is a product that needs in the city and will be leased quickly. It also brings new jobs to the city, and it creates daytime employment. And if you're a restaurant or you're a retailer, you know what a benefit it is to have daytime employment and people coming in and out of your business at lunchtime. We do a lot of great restaurant business at night, but restaurants struggle in the daytime because we need quality daytime employment in this city. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is that it kicks off the Westlake plan that we all worked on the Planning Commission and you guys as BOMA worked on. This kicks it off, and it sets the standard of quality development for the west side of the city. So I ask tonight that you support this project. Thank you.
Barry, thank you. Tyler Jones, Church Street, Nashville.
Hey there, Tyler Jones, 424 Church Street, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm actually with the applicant. I apologize. I signed up in case I needed to respond to anything. I didn't know what the proper format was. So.
Nevertheless, that's good to know in case we have questions. Maybe we might want to call you later on.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, we have a public hearing to hear comments on a request by Real Estate Solutions Group to amend the final development plan to remove the blanket rental restriction from the Near Water Place final plan development. The property is located at 220 Near Water Place to the west of Rockland Road and on the north side of West Main Street, as identified by Sumner County Tax Map 160-050.01. And we have Rob Cushman signed up to speak.
I'm Rob Cushman, 1445 Anderson Road, here in Hendersonville. I don't have a pony in this race, but I just wanted to share a story. I'm a builder and developer, and I had a project down in Nashville. We built 72 townhomes, single-family, originally for-sale townhomes. Over the course of construction, we got 11 straight rate hikes, and nobody decided they wanted to buy our product because they couldn't afford it. So they ended up needing more rental product. And my for-sale product was no longer in demand at all. So we got in a bad spot, and we couldn't pay our monthly interest burn. So we had to reach out and find a company to go ahead and buy that project to rent them. And those rent rates were they were not an inexpensive, hey, this is a cheap place to rent product, $2,800 to $3,500, really beautiful townhomes. So I feel for the owner of this property, who I've never spoken with. And I just wanted to share that experience, because had I had a rental restriction on my project, I would have had to have declared bankruptcy personally. I would have had to have that project go into foreclosure, which means it sits there and languishes and it isn't cared for. It takes years and years to get out of foreclosure and then get built and turn into a project that is either for sale or for rent. So it sits there, again, languishing into what you've all seen that those things can become. So I just wanted to share that story real quick because it was a personal experience. I am a resident of Hendersonville. I would definitely not be opposed to this project being allowed to be a rental project, particularly at the location that it is. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Rob. Next, we have citizen comments. Kimberly Overton. I'm sorry. We need to approve our minutes from our August 12th meeting. We do have a clerical amendment. Lance, I should have talked to you about this ahead of time. I apologize for that. On page 8. We finished the public hearings. That was the second one. Yep. You're fine. So on page 8. So if you look on page 8, the very top, it says Resolution 2025-02. That should be Resolution 2025-22. And then on page 9, right in the middle of the page, there's a paragraph that says there was a unanimous vote to approve Resolution 2025-14. That should be 2025-24. What's the best way to handle that, Lance?
Make a motion to amend.
Can you say that again?
You can make a motion to amend.
Okay. So first I need a motion to approve the minutes as they were presented. Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Garten. Then Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to amend on page 8, the top 2025-22 instead of 02, and page 9, 2025-14, change that to 24.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, a second from Alderman Evans. Any discussion on that amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Did I hear an abstention? Had an abstention from Alderman Dixon. Okay, now we're back on the main motion, which is the minutes from August 12th. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. We have one abstention from Alderman Dixon. Now we're on to citizen comments. Sorry about that, Kimberly. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Clary. Good evening, Aldermen. Kimberly Overton, 104 Glen Oak Court West. I'm here tonight with a heavy heart because I have become beyond disillusioned and disappointed in our city's leadership, particularly since I once so strongly supported it. And back in 2020, many of you may remember that I stood for hours at early voting, in the pouring rain, holding signs, talking with voters, educating the community, and defending you, Mayor, because I believed in your leadership and I trusted your word. I put myself out there because I wanted what was best for Hendersonville, and I truly believe that you represented that. So you can imagine my disappointment and my surprise when I discovered that I had been unfriended on social media. Not because I was disrespectful, not because I personally attacked you, because none of that happened, but simply because I stood in support of our fire department. That was it. And I've always approached this conversation respectfully. I've never once made it personal, but your reaction felt very personal to me, and it was also very telling. It's really forced me to reflect on the people that I campaigned against during your race. The political opponents I pushed back on hard because of a narrative I was given by you. And now I find myself wondering, did I get it wrong? Did I misjudge the very people I stood against on your behalf? Because if standing up for our first responders respectfully and consistently was enough to earn your silent dismissal, then I may very well owe some people an apology. But tonight is not about me. It is about the men and women who run toward danger when the rest of us would run away from it. Our firefighters and police officers absorb trauma, physical exhaustion, and emotional strain every single day. And it shortens their lives. The data shows that. And the sad reality is that many won't even live to see 60. That's why the Bridge program is so important. It's not a political tool. It's not a bargaining chip. It is a lifeline. It gives our first responders the chance to step away before the toll of the job consumes what little time they may have left. And this is time that they deserve to spend with their children, their spouses, their grandchildren, their families. And this is the most telling piece. When our first responders were polled, the overwhelming majority of them said that they were in favor of the Bridge program. So the very people that this impacts the most have spoken loud and clear. They want it, they need it, and they have earned it. Ignoring their voices while claiming to support them is not leadership. This is manipulation. There very well may be some who don't agree, but who chose to abstain from the vote. Personally, I believe that if you are given the opportunity to have a voice in the form of your vote and you choose not to use it, then you forfeit consideration. Those who participated have made their position clear. Sidebar conversations with our elected officials should remain irrelevant. When I received the mayor's text message about this issue, I felt manipulated. Instead of offering clarity, it twisted the narrative into a false choice, one that paints supporters of our first responders as somehow standing against them. This isn't honest leadership, that's gaslighting. Our first responders deserve more than political spin. They deserve more than talking points. They deserve leaders who will stand up for them, plain and simple. So my request to you tonight is this. Please support the Bridge program. Protect their pensions, their health benefits, and their right to live beyond their career. Show them that Hendersonville values their humanity, their service, and their sacrifice. I may be questioning things that I once believed. I may even owe apologies to those I have opposed in the past. But I still believe in this city. I believe in this community. And I still believe in every one of you sitting up there. I believe that we can do the right thing if we will put politics aside and put people first. Yes. Thank you for your time.
Kimberly, thank you. Next, we have Lisa Bracco, 296 Lake Terrace.
Well, you introduced me, so I don't need to introduce myself. I want to make a few comments. First of all, I asked if it was under the Tennessee Constitution to have my British assistant speak for 5 minutes. I was told by the lawyer and you, no, I have it here in the Tennessee Constitution. It is allowed. You will be hearing from my lawyer on that. I just want to clarify that because you gave wrong legal advice. I want to make some comments on the people that talked about nice, beautiful yards and getting rewards and pictures. And isn't it so beautiful? Well, I want to ask all of you, is it beautiful to watch a little kid named Greer in a wheelchair and have to fight for your kid to have access to a playground and have it be inclusive, which means that you can get in within the equipment? Do you think that's important? We have 31 elementary schools here that are not ADA compliant. I was prepared to raise $6 million with a group of 2 handicapped moms to be laughed at by Scott Langford. And the entire board was in shock when I stood up and I said, it is my Tennessee constitutional right to speak about items not on the agenda. And you violated my Tennessee constitutional right, but I will move on because I have a lawyer, Mayor, and Terry, and Karen for all the rights that you have all violated.
Lisa, you need to address me.
I am addressing you. What do you want me to do? Walk up there to you? I sent you 14 emails that you didn't answer. Till the 14th one, then I threatened you that I knew how you won your office illegally. Then you answered but didn't copy your assistant, Keith, which brings me to what I came to speak about, which is affordable housing. Nobody knows what this city is. I sat at the Republican Party next to this really nice man that's worked for the Marriott, and he's trying to figure out what we are, where we need convention centers, how we're going to grow up. We don't want money to go to Nashville. I'm in support of that. I want a really cool place here, not the, as Rebecca said last time down Chicken Poop Road. It was brilliant. I want that too. I want concerts here. I don't want to drive to Nashville. It sucks, the traffic, but this traffic sucks here. And sorry, it's all your fault. Not maybe you newbies, but all of you that sat by and let all this building go, and it's 30 minutes to go 2 minutes across town. And so now you put a moratorium on 9,000 apartments because of that. Where is affordable housing? You can all be like the Billionaire Club in DC. You can be like downtown Nashville with 20 skyscraping cranes and nobody to work there. They had to move to Columbia, Tennessee. Now they can't even afford that. So you can be billionaires with no one to work for you. That's going to happen right here. I have a duplex, 165 Volco. I put in to make it 4 handicapped accessible, and I was denied by Mark. Mark was extremely professional, and I was grandfathered in, which I never knew about. I own 3 duplexes. I sold the other 2. That would not cause a problem with parking. It's on Volco Drive. And a matter of fact, what I will do with that place, if I am granted that, and I'm asking this board to go against what has been written to me, to allow that. My apartment will be beautiful. You'll have 4 workers here for all this great stuff that you want to build. They have nowhere to live. I know the 9,000 apartments, I don't even know the politics behind it. Mr. Evans voted in favor of it, and then he was called some names secretly by the director of the county commission, which was really rude. And it's not okay, Mr. Mayor, to block your political page. It's illegal, in case you don't know. So you don't return calls. I talked to you last time about the lack of leadership from you. I sat there next to a real leader, Mr. Scotty Bush, and Mark was in front of me, and I said, you didn't answer me, and he got nervous. I said, don't even go to that phone. I will show you. So he did answer me. So he's been very professional. The mayor of the county.
30 seconds.
The mayor of the county, I will be fully supporting, and I wish he could take your job and run the whole darn place. He is a conservative, and I'm not a Republican and a Democrat, despite people wanting to put me in a box. I'm fighting for the firefighters, the volunteer ones. It's $4 million, and I will get that money, and then we will come up with a plan B. And right now, Mayor, I'm asking you to donate $750,000, like the county commission did, to take care of the problem.
Lisa, thank you. Next, we have Ash Seeley of Tamaris Way.
Thank you.
We've got Ash Seeley of Tamaris Way.
Thank you all. I apologize if I seem a bit nervous. I've never done this before, so I appreciate your patience with me. I am speaking today in opposition to Ordinance 2025-14, which will impose a 9-month moratorium on high-density residential developments inside the city. As a young adult who works a full-time job inside the city, I am concerned as to how this will affect the affordability of apartment units within the city limits in the near future. As you all might be aware, we are living in the middle of a housing crisis where it is becoming increasingly unaffordable for those like myself to own or rent any home of any kind. In Hendersonville, for example, the average market value of a single-family home has more than doubled over the last decade. That has locked out a majority of young working-class residents like myself from the privilege of owning their own home. Apartments and similar rental units are our only choice when it comes to affordable living inside the city limits. It is our only option. And when I see a moratorium like this being proposed, I can't help but be concerned about that affordability going into the future. Even though the number of projects that will be directly affected by this is limited, I am worried about the message that it will send to businesses and developers who want to invest in the city in the near future. 9 months is a long time. How many projects in those 9 months could we miss out on? Overall, this is a matter of supply versus demand. If we don't have enough apartments inside the city to meet demand, prices will increase, just like it has with single-family homes. Pair that with rising prices for consumer goods, and you're looking at a situation where you're driving a lot of people out of the city. Not all of those looking for a home here come from outside of the region, outside of the state. Some of those people are lifelong residents who were born and raised in the city, who have deep roots here. People like me. I'm one of those residents. I understand the concerns about the effects of increased housing on the city's infrastructure. I'm not crazy enough to, jump for joy when I see more traffic every time a new business opens or a new neighborhood is built. Nobody likes that. But to be frank, I'm much more concerned about being able to afford my own residence without breaking the bank. I enjoy living in Hendersonville. My family and friends live here. I work here, and I don't want to leave here. I understand that this issue is not going to be something that can be resolved overnight, nor can it be resolved by the city alone. But this is simply the wrong step to take. A moratorium on high-density housing will only serve to further limit the options young adults like me have to live here. We do not need more restrictions on this, we need less. I urge you all to set aside this proposed ordinance to pursue more creative solutions to these issues like these, and work with both the state and federal government to achieve them. Thank you.
Ash, thank you. Jessica Brownsberger, Cross Cove Court.
Hi, my name is Jess Brownsberger. I live at 106 Cross Cove Court, and I am here tonight on behalf of many of my neighbors who care so deeply about preserving the last natural green space we have left on the Walton Ferry Peninsula. It's currently up for sale, and it's 15 acres right next to the Arboretum across from the Hawkins Middle School. And we are not here to oppose any kind of growth. We are here just to simply ask for more balance of growth so that our families, children, and senior citizens have open space to breathe and play without more congestion. There's a few reasons why we believe that this space is going to be beneficial to protect for our community, so I'm going to let Dylan touch on that really quickly.
So are you finished, Jessica? Or do you need,
Oh, go ahead.
So are you finished? Because we can't go back and forth. So
okay.
We can't. So why don't you go ahead and finish?
I'll finish and then I'll let Dylan do it. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay.
No, you're good.
Okay.
So tonight we're just asking for a couple things. The first thing we're asking for is to place a resolution of interest on the next agenda. And then we're asking to authorize staff to commission an independent appraisal on the property. And just thank you I'll let Dylan talk in a minute, but thank you guys for your time and considering these steps. I know we have support here with us tonight, and we also have gathered 982 signatures on a petition in the last 48 hours for this subject. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. So next we have Dylan Brown. He's going to speak from over here. Dylan, I believe that microphone is on.
Yep.
He's on Dylan Drive.
Yep, it's Dylan Brown. I live on 127 Dylan Drive, and I'm here representing my mom, who lives at 109 Jackstaff Drive. It's a house I grew up on, and they're still there. The thing is, Jackstaff Drive is a dead-end street that runs into that property that Jess is talking about. And so the three things we wanted to just bring up here is balancing nature. And so, you know, over the years that we've lived here, Hendersonville has obviously grown a lot. We've approved a lot of new neighborhoods. And it turns out that this 15 acres is the last green space there on Walton Ferry. So it's a good opportunity to save that land. And it's a lasting value for the community. Once the land's gone, you can't take it back. And so preserving this will cost less than replacing it later. And it helps to serve for the students across the street at Hawkins Middle, families, seniors, generations to come. And obviously, we all know the benefits of having nature areas. And so the fact that it's already next door to the Nature Arboretum, you can connect that. And then also there's protected land across that peninsula at the end of a cove there. So it's always going to be protected land. So it's already kind of naturally in a perfect spot to be protected. And so lastly, this wouldn't be the first opportunity for Hendersonville to have a partnership like Beatty Farmers as a proof of that. So we've got nonprofit partners like Tennessee Green and the Trust for Public Land are ready to step in, advise, and help hold the property while funds come together. So this is just an opportunity for us to bring it to your attention today, and we look forward to seeing if we can get something great moving forward with that property.
Dylan, thank you. Appreciate that. Next, we have David Lucky, Clarendon Place.
Hello. I'm here to speak against the moratorium as well. The young man, he did a great job. So I'll just echo some of his comments. The affordability is a real issue. Obviously, I'm against the moratorium for several reasons, but the main reason is that I believe in limited government, not more government. This is more government. I think a lot of y'all believe the same. You're taking away the property owner's rights to do what they wish with their property, whether it's submit or trying to improve it in any way. And like I said last time, the moratorium could disincentivize other property investment. And certainly there's properties in the Westlake area that could and frankly should be multifamily. In the ordinance, it states that one of the reasons the city wants to review the zoning ordinance is, to go ahead or one of the reasons they want the moratorium is to review the zoning ordinance. Well, if that's truly the case, why can't you do that like every other municipality and do it and then make a presentation, present the new zoning? We spoke last time about the Westlake overlay. You've got a good project going on at the far end of the Westlake overlay. It's going to take multifamily or some other major use to pull in and improve that area. The city does have a competent and well-staffed planning and zoning department. I would suggest that you just let them do their job. Another reason is the city wants to study impact fees. I don't know how many times. I guess we've been up here 3 or 4 times talking about impact fees, and then the result every time seems to be that the city's better off negotiating on individual projects about what impact it has on the area. That kind of brings up another point. I went through the city budget, and from fiscal year 2019 to fiscal year ending June 2024, the city's revenues exploded. They're up about 65%, from 52 million to 85 million, whereas the expenses have only gone up 27%. There's about a $17 million delta between what the cost could have gone up and they didn't, which caused the general fund and the total fund to, or the total balance, and that's beyond the general fund. The general fund went up 186%. I don't know why y'all are even considering impact fees if you've got a general fund and a total fund that's gone from 10 million to 39 million in 5 years. Why does the city even need impact fees? To slow down growth, I don't know. You've got a planning department. It seems like that if the spending had kept kept up with the revenue side of this, that you maybe wouldn't have some of the issues that you have now. I'll close with the reasons this should be voted down. Less government, not more. You have a competent planning department, taking of personal and corporate property rights, and you're disincentivizing capital investment.
Yep.
Thank you.
David, thank you. Next, we've got Mr. McMullen, Pin Oak Drive.
Good job.
Betsy McMullen, 105 Pin Oak Drive. I gave a handout and sent an email to all of you, but I'm going to read it because a lot of you didn't get it. I just want to give my 2 cents on a few issues on tonight's agenda. The request by Real Estate Solutions Group to remove the rental restriction on the property at Nearwater Place is a real problem. They were able to build these homes with the understanding that they would be sold and owner-occupied. Because the investment group has difficulty selling them is no reason to amend the development plan. This could set a precedent for others to do the same. We do not want that to happen. That would certainly cause a problem in the future. Also, I would like you to listen to the citizens tonight regarding property in Ward 1. The request is to save property on Walton Ferry Road next to the Arboretum for green space and nature. Please hear what the people are saying and look favorably on their wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McMullen. Appreciate that. Next, we've got consent agenda, which we have no items there, and then ordinance and resolutions. We have replaced, we switched 2 and 1, so we're on to resolution 2025-28. This is a resolution to amend the Nearwater Place final development plan located at 220 Nearwater Place in Hendersonville. Alderman Martin. We have a motion from Alderman Martin. We have a second from Alderman Sassy. We're good? Okay. Any discussion? Jason, you ready for us? Okay. So we are voting on resolution 2025-28. All those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. You hit it again, see what happens. Okay. So Alderman Evans, you are Alderman Robertson. Hit the green button. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that fails 10-2. Those voting in favor were Alderman Ward and Alderman Evans. Those in favor, those opposed, Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, Martin, Sassy, Garza, myself, Alderman Dixon, Goodwin, Garten, and Collins. Did I have that correct, everybody? Okay, thank you all. Next, we are on to second reading of ordinance 2025-13. This is an ordinance rezoning 26 acres located on Rockland Road from mixed commercial to industrial plan development and approving the Lincoln Rockland Commercial Plaza Comprehensive Development Plan to govern that property. I need a motion, please. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Garza. Any discussion on this? All those in favor, Alderman Martin.
We're on.
Hold on 1 second. Jason, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. What am I doing wrong? Okay. I think we're good, Alderman Martin.
This is on the Lincoln Rockland Commercial Plaza. So before we vote, I kind of wanted to talk with the development group. Do you have a representative I can talk to? Okay.
Sure. So give us, without objection, we're going to suspend the rules. Guys, just give us your names and what your role is, and do your best to answer the questions.
Absolutely. Tyler Jones with Lincoln Property Company, 424 Church Street in Nashville. I'm here on behalf of ownership. We're the applicant. Here in the room with us, we've got representatives from Kimley Horn on the engineering side. We've got their traffic engineer. We've also got our land use counsel, Erica Garrison with Bradley, here with us.
Okay. So all of us aldermen have been receiving concerns based on having the road exit out to Rockland. It's kind of a strange configuration, and there's a lot of traffic concerns. Last time we talked about whether you guys would be amenable to including as a part of your project extending the road to Center Point South. So I wanted to see what y'all's thoughts were on whether you would be amenable to including that as a part of your project.
Are you referring, Brendan Bowles with Kimley Horn, are you referring to all the way to the western connection?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't believe it's $2 million for us to build the road that we have in front of us, which is a big commitment for them to build, and I don't believe that it's financially feasible, and I know that's not always a great argument, but it just, the project wouldn't happen with that going all the way to the western side. I think there are opportunities to have other developments that may happen to pay for the rest of the roadway. And I know that Lincoln has mentioned, the city of Gillisville owns the next land right to the west. If there's a way to work with city of Gillisville and city of Hendersonville, happy to talk about how to build more of the road. We're building about a third of the road as it stands today. And
How much is the value of the project?
I don't have the total value of the project.
About 50 million?
I'm not sure. I'm the design engineer.
Yeah, that's roughly accurate.
Yeah, okay.
Total development cost would be plus or minus 50 million.
So to extend the road, if you were to do asphalt, this is on about a 2,600-foot road, 38 feet wide by your drawings. If you were to do an asphalt option with the current square yards going at $49, 8-inch stone, 2-inch binder, 1.5-inch surface E, comes out to 2,977 square yards times $49 is $537,000.
For the asphalt price, your calculations may very well be true. We got curb and gutter and storm drainage and utilities. We got underground electric to put through there, a duct bank to put through there. We're also building a 10-foot multi-use trail on the north side of the road for the city. So
The city can build the trail.
We're doing what the city asked us to, the planning staff and engineering staff asked us to do. That's what we have put on the plans to date that was approved by the planning commission.
Are you envisioning an asphalt road or a concrete road?
It'd be an asphalt travel lane. It's a 3-lane section, asphalt roads, concrete curb and gutter, concrete sidewalk for the 10-foot trail. And we got site lighting and other things. So they're more cost than just asphalt to consider there. We have looked at the road alignment and some of the safety concerns that were brought up last time, and happy to continue to look at that alignment that we talked about last meeting with the commission. And I think that we've gone back to the drawing board based on some of y'all's comments and looked at realigning that roadway so that we could fit in the deceleration lane on Rockland Road there as was discussed last meeting. So we're spending more dollars out there on the roadway to make those roadways improvements on Rockland Road, and we're willing to spend more dollars out there on Rockland Road to make it safer for the constituents based on the comments that we heard last time. So I know Commissioner Sassy there beside you had some comments there, and you may have too, Mr. Martin, last meeting, but happy to continue to make it a safer intersection by aligning the driveway with the gas station. So we've gone back and looked at those options and are willing to do that.
So the continuous road and the alternate exit would not only benefit the community, but it seems like it would benefit the owner, the value of the property, having 2 ways in and out, and also provide a way for the heavy construction equipment to access the site without tearing up Rockland Road. Is that not a benefit?
Certainly, the road is a benefit to everybody, the community, business owners, and everybody that could use it. We don't control the right-of-way all the way over to the other roadway. I think the city of Gillisville and Hendersonville have had some agreement on a portion of that road, but not the entire roadway, all the way back over to Center Point West. So we don't control the right-of-way to build it.
So I think we do have the right-of-way through Goodlettsville, and then we have it at the corner of 167 Center Point Road, privately owned by K&G Company. And your clients are well aware that the most valuable property is a corner property. And so this road extension would create just that. So K&G Company would experience probably a 4-time increase in their property because it is now one of the few corner properties. That make sense?
Yeah, sure. I think that if there are more development options to offset the costs of the roadway, we're happy to continue to talk about building more roadway. but we can't offset the cost with just 2 buildings.
Okay.
But happy to do more work out there on Rockland Road to make it safer and build the deceleration lane that was discussed last time and realign the entry road to the what's labeled as Public Road A, which sometimes we refer to as Rockland Road Extension, but the road you're discussing with the gas station to make that a safer intersection, which I think is a good idea for the constituents and residents that are living out there.
Okay, so just before we go to vote, you're saying no on entertaining the idea of including that road extension on the property?
I'd ask our client to to weigh in there too.
Well, it's important before we vote, because
I understand.
It's not gonna,
Let me ask Lance something here. Lance, they don't own the property for at least a third of this.
I was talking to somebody, and I was trying to catch up. So Alderman Martin, you're asking about extending the road on someone else's property that's not city-owned property?
right, so the very last looks like 400 feet, looks like it goes through a privately owned property. But we can always ask them, because it would immensely benefit the value of their property to create a corner lot instead of landlocked.
I would just advise the board to be careful when we're making these, what the Supreme Court has called exacting. It's, we've called it agreements, just like the last vote before us, the Nearwater place. But when we're exacting, which is usually in exchange for an approval of a development, there has to be a valid government purpose. There has to be an essential nexus connecting the exaction with the development and the government purpose, and it has to be proportionate to the development and the exaction. So, especially when we're talking about private property, I would just advise the board to be careful about that. That's all I'm saying.
Do you want to go ahead? Did you still want to ask your question?
Well, I think I've heard the answer.
Okay. Okay. Alderman Martin, thank you. Alderman Skidmore.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a point of let me ask for a point of clarification. Do we not have a right-of-way access from the Goodlettsville piece of property?
I'm going to ask Keith Free that question.
Yeah, we don't have a right-of-way right now. We do have an agreement with the city of Goodlettsville in a deal we did a few years ago.
Yes.
For them to provide, I think, 64 feet of right-of-way. And there's a piece in between there. There's a big ravine, and so there need to be a bridge of some sort, to make that connection. But on the other side, where they're talking about South Center Point, we don't have a right-of-way, but that property was platted a few years ago, and went ahead and did an easement to prepare for a future right-of-way, for a conversion to the future right-of-way. But we don't, so we've got a good portion of what we would need. It's right there, we call it the bow tie property. It's kind of where this property on South Center Point comes up close to where the Goodlettsville property is. It's kind of in that area right there where we don't control that property or have any agreements that could lead easily to a right-of-way. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but we just don't have those in place right now.
All right, but so in your estimation, I guess the product is there to build. I mean, we've taken necessary steps for that, for the possibility of the road to continue to South Center Point Road. Is that correct? Would I be saying yes or no and assuming that?
It's poised for us to complete that road in the future. This portion of it is about around a third of it. So this portion of it, if it was constructed, then the reality of the remaining part becomes more possible.
Okay.
With this portion. If you did the whole thing, it's a pretty significant project.
Okay. So the development company has agreed to do about, what, 2/3 of the road? Is that?
No,
would
I
you-
think it's a 30% or a
30,
third.
a third?
34%, so a little over a third. Not
Okay.
much, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman.
I'm not through yet, but thank you for that clarification and of the situation. I do want to ask the developers this. What has changed from your project that's coming into my ward or our ward? What has changed since the last time that you have came? What have you agreed that you're going to do? Because I want to have that for the record.
Yes, sir.
And before I start, I just have a quick question that just hit me. Do you do work for the city of Hendersonville? Your company?
Kimley Horn does, yes, sir. I don't know how active projects, but we've certainly done a lot of business in the city of Hendersonville over the years.
Well, have you done any work for the city of Hendersonville?
Kimley Horn has, yes, sir.
Okay, and that's who you are representing this evening, right?
Yes, sir, Kimley Horn.
Well,
yes.
don't you think that's maybe kind of be of a conflict of interest, the coming up before the city of Hendersonville?
No,
That
sir,
you
I don't
work for
believe
us
so.
and then the shoe is on the other foot and now you're working for them?
We work on both sides. We're a national engineering and planning firm.
Oh, so you work both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, well,
Sort of
we
like
do work
the way
for
we do sometimes.
public, and we work for private clients. Yes, sir. We do work for both
right,
types of
well.
clients, and all different types of clients, and all shapes and sizes.
I'm sure you do, and I appreciate you being honest and upfront with me, but I got to really look into this because, I mean, not you personally, but if we have people that work for the city of Hendersonville and they go home and the next morning they put the shoe on the other foot and they're working for people who are not necessarily doing what we perceive as a benefit for the city, I got a problem with that. I just want to let you know.
I understand.
I mean, and I know it's your business, and you do what you got to do. But I'm just saying, I think that's a conflict. I really do.
I understand your concern, and
Yeah.
we're engineers, and so
Sure.
we don't play one side or the other. We do work for multiple different types of clients all across the country. And
Okay.
I've worked on public projects in Metro Nashville. I work for private clients in Metro Nashville. I work for public clients in City of Hendersonville. And my partners here, also with me, work for the public side of City of Hendersonville at times too. So we just report the facts. We're engineers. We don't try and play one side or the other.
Well, I appreciate that, but, okay, I'm just going to leave it at that because that'll be something that this board will need to entertain at a later time. But I still think, see, that would be like me, no, I'm not going to go there. But because, and the reason why is because it's not dealing these guys any good, what you and I talk about. Maybe there'll be a time that we will be entertaining this issue. I just think that that's a huge conflict of interest of your company putting a shoe on the foot, and then you wake up in the morning and now you're representing people that are trying to come to the city and build in our city, which there's an issue, but I don't know how to handle that. I mean, in terms of if you came in here to Public Works Committee, in which I'm chairman of, and I think you guys have, I'm just saying that I would look at your plans a little differently now. I mean, I'm going to now. I'm going to put you on notice that I'm going to consider that. You
Commissioner,
may.
If there's ever any concerns about us having a conflict of interest, please bring them to our attention. We'll be happy to address them. Tonight, we are here to build a public road on behalf of private development for the city of Hendersonville. We are here to make improvements to a public road on behalf of the city of Hendersonville. So your question about what have we changed, we're agreeing to realign the driveway to align with the gas station and build the deceleration lane that was discussed last meeting.
Okay.
So I do have an exhibit of that. Be happy to pass those out.
Sure, thank you very much. But I don't, I know you don't want to, apparently you don't want to talk about my issue, and that's okay. But, you know, I was not even going to raise the issue until you said who you were from, and I was thinking, I was sitting here because I wanted to see what these guys have done, because I know they're doing projects in Hendersonville, and they, listen, I'm not going to sit here and criticize what you guys have done, because I have no reason to. But if I did, you can be doggone sure that I would raise the issue with you, okay? So I don't want you to think it's confrontational, but I do happen, Mr. Bergdorf and myself represent several thousand people that live on the peninsula where this is going to be a direct effect on the people there, regardless of whether they live next door to it or where they live 3 miles from this. So, I want you to tell you that I don't have any problem with your company at all, but if I did, I would tell you. So, thank you for this, and I'm going to take a look at it because I may come back to you guys. But how far are you extending I guess the third lane is the best.
On Rockland today?
Yes,
All the way,
the acceleration lane.
it'll be a 3-lane section, past our entry and then all the way to Main Street or Gallatin Pike there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And so these are the only things that you all?
Yeah, I think that was what we heard loud and clear last meeting, were the concerns about the safety, concerns about the deceleration lane, and concerns about, the stacking in the AM morning. And so we wanted to make sure that we had an exhibit prepared for you guys tonight.
Okay.
That demonstrated our commitment to improving the plan.
All right, I appreciate you letting me know this. I have a couple of more questions, and then I'll be done for the first round. I'll wait till everybody else. What are the plans? And I'm sure, I think I even asked you, I said, do you all live in Hendersonville last time? And none of you do. So you don't know about this little thing I'm getting ready to ask, but I can tell you this. The people of Ward 1 and Ward 2 know about this, and probably the rest of the city of Hendersonville who's ever done this at 8 o'clock in the morning in the pouring rain. When you either go off of Rockland onto Gallatin Road and then on over to the ramp to get on I-65, which is a nightmare going into Nashville. Have you all ever even noticed where sometimes when it's raining real bad, that the water goes over the road into next to Speedway off the road, and it just fills up, and so your car has to go through that. Are you all gonna do anything about that? Are you gonna resolve that issue? Because that's a big issue.
Happy to have that discussion further with the engineering department and address it however best we can. I mean, I assume you're talking about over Rockland Road?
Sure.
Yeah. So if there's ways that we could improve what's out there, work with engineering staff, we haven't gone to that level of detail in the design yet, because we're here at the zoning stage, but happy to talk to the Public Works group and engineering about it.
Yeah, I understand this is the zoning stage, but if you don't attack something at the first, people come back to the city sometimes and say, well, we weren't asked to do that, so we don't have any, and I don't play that. I put everything out on the record there because, see, you're going to be bringing, as you all eloquently say, and which I'm happy for, you're bringing in employees that are coming to the city. And I want the road to be not, I don't know how appropriate, but I just want the road corrected if it can be at all possible. One of the problems that I had, which fell upon deaf ears for the most, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I told you so to people, because I don't play that kind of politics, but I do kind of look at them kind of funny. With the car wash, the Speedway, and what's the Raceway? And racetrack. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And they never did one thing about the water that goes across the road there, and that's dangerous. I mean, people can hydroplane and wind up in a ditch, and it just takes one time, and it can go either way, because you're going to have cars going like this and traffic. And I just encourage you, I mean, it doesn't take anybody, and with a degree in any kind of science to see when you drive down that road when it's dry, and how when you come off that road, it dips down. And it's just for a little bit, but it's a lot of water that runs through that. And regardless of whether you want to admit it or not, you're going to cause some water, because you're building on that property that has just land there. And I don't mean anything by that.
Yes, sir.
But it's the truth.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing it to our attention. It's the first I'm hearing about it. I haven't driven in the rain, and so I haven't seen that. But again, happy to talk to the engineering department and
Right.
look at it. There is a stream that drains from north to south.
Yes, it
kind of in the
does.
middle of our site. So I imagine that water's trying to get there. So whatever we can do to help that water get there quicker and faster, we will do that.
Okay, you've answered my question, and so I know you've looked at the project, because a lot of people don't know about that stream, but I do. I can assure you
Yes,
of
sir.
that. Okay, now, my next question is, I see what you're going to do, and I appreciate that, and I do like that. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and criticize you all night, because that's not right. I liked and I really appreciate what you all have done. But have you looked to see what is happening on the corner of Imperial Boulevard and Rockland Road? How you're going to be on what the decisions that we make tonight and in the future? What are you going to do to that for traffic-wise at that stop sign? Did any of your traffic studies look at that? I mean, I don't know.
Yes, sir. I know the last time we talked about the 3 intersections that we had studied, and I don't believe Imperial and Rockland was on the list of the intersections that we were
Okay.
asked to study by city staff. So
All right.
I don't have any information on that one.
Well, what concerns me, and then I'll close for just for now, because I have another issue, but I see there's other people that definitely want to talk to you this evening, which I appreciate, whether they're for it or against it. That's just the way we do here. But I do want to hear their comments, because what they say to me may change my mind, and or it may not either. But I do have
You're next.
2 final questions, but I'm going to reserve one later on, and I'll close with it. It's nothing bad or anything like that, but it's a pretty serious one. I want to reiterate, like I did last time, and I do want to say one thing. I do want, for the record, to show that, and you made reference to my distinguished colleagues that I serve with, and I have a great deal of respect for, about us, that they were asking questions about the project as a whole. And Alderman, my colleague, my younger colleague, here we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Alderman Bergdorf and myself asked some of the questions too, and I want the record to reflect that, and that also I want our constituency to know how we feel about it as well. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I want to go on record in saying again that although the development looks fine, it really does, but I'm very concerned about the traffic that is going to be caused right there. And actually the traffic probably wasn't I don't know if it was a big issue with you guys, but we live here and we live in that area. We have near water right there. We have 2 apartments right there. We have, that is a main artery coming into Hendersonville from Nashville, from Inglewood, from Goodlettsville, from East Nashville, and so forth and so on, coming in there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 to 7 in the morning going to Nashville. And I just want to tell you that if you've got trucks coming in there, it's going to cause, both ways, it's going to cause a problem. And I don't know what to tell you to do about it, except for one thing that I'm going to come back to later. That could probably help you all and also for the city of Hendersonville. But it's going to cause, I feel, and it's up to you to prove me wrong. And I hope that happens, that you can come back and say, Skidmore, you're an idiot. You were wrong when you said that. And I've had that happen. Not very often, but I've had it happen. And I eat crow. I've eaten a lot of crow over my years. But I've also dished it out. And that's what my main concern is. Because I know Rockland Road, people know that. That whole peninsula over there, which used to be 1 and 2, and now it's all just 1. And we, a lot of people use Rockland Road as an access to go home and to leave their home. And if you ever look at the traffic, and in the morning, it's going to be loony. So I would encourage you to really take a look at that and see. And Mayor, I'm going to close for this right now, but I respectfully ask for one more time at the bite of the apple.
Okay.
When it comes time.
Okay. Thank you, Alderman Skidmore.
Thank you. All right.
Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Alderman Skidmore. I appreciate you asking all those to clarify the changes from the last time that we looked at this to now, and I appreciate that. I am not in Ward 1. This is not my side of town that I'm all that familiar with, but I think I got 1, maybe 2 emails against this. I didn't get any other comments from everybody because my constituents are in Ward 4. But I did read some things on social media about the concerns. And my name, my Alderman page, I believe, was tagged a couple of times by someone against this. And the comments that I read, and please, I will ask the alderman from Wards 1s to correct me if I'm wrong, but what I read was that people were concerned that Rockland Road, and I'm looking at the map as I'm doing this, they didn't call it an access, they called it their cutoff. And that word was used many times. I use that road to cut off Main Street. I use that as a cut through to get home to their neighborhoods, and there's no houses around this property. And, I appreciate that the improvements that the developers are willing to make for us. But, Commissioner Hardwick made some very good points, and I appreciate him coming to speak for us tonight. That's right, Hardwick, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. This is a chance for a really good development to come into that area. This is a commercial area. Some of it is zoned light industrial already. And in my opinion, it's the place to put it if we're going to have it in Hendersonville, and we're running out of space for this kind of thing. And I appreciate that point being made. So for that reason, I can defend commercial property, commercial travelers driving through a private neighborhood, but I can't defend people using a commercial area to cut off to go home in a commercial area, it just doesn't make sense to me because this is a commercial and industrial, light industrial area. So for that reason, I'm going to vote yes. Thank you.
Alderman Dixon, thank you. Alderman Evans.
I hope it's okay. I changed over, not using Alderman.
I noticed that.
Robertson, because it kept coming up Robertson.
I'm glad you're feeling like yourself now. Okay.
I can be both. Do I get 2 votes? Just a point, just a clarification and making sure that we're all clear on this, because I've heard Alderman Martin and Alderman Skidmore make some good comments, but I keep going back to the fact that the planning department has already looked at this extensively, and they've worked with this developer and with Kimley Horn to make sure that all of our expectations and the requirements that we have to be able to do this is met. So again, and I'm one of these that I put trust in our departments, and our planning department is an excellent department, excellent people, and that we also have a great planning commission. And I know this is just talking about zoning, but this went before our general committee and was approved and came out of general committee. We've already had 1 reading on this, and everyone voted for it. But I also know that we had some concerns, and my point is that they've met those. We had a concern about could we possibly move the entrance and where it matches against, is it racetrack, raceway, whatever it is, that it matches that. They've done that. When last meeting we thought maybe they weren't going to be able to do that, so they've done that. And they've also put that turning lane in there, which is what we wanted as well. Completely built all the way to Center Point Road, but we've heard some issues here where we don't have the authority yet, or we haven't worked out those agreements, and that this is only 1/3 of that road. I don't see how I can make that jump of going from asking this company to foot the bill to build a road all the way over. It would be nice, but we're not there, and that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is a project that I think is viable in this area. As Alderman Dixon has said, I think it's a viable use of this land here, and I appreciate the work that they've done to work on the road and work on this intersection. So I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. I appreciate my cohort in Ward 1 who has spoke so eloquently and for such a long time. But I think he covered all the bases.
I'm serious about it.
But I do agree with him on many fronts, on many of the concerns he's spoken about. And I do see that this could be a potentially good thing for the city, but the big concerns are the traffic on Rockland Road. The big concerns are traffic on Rockland Road. I drove out Monday morning in my truck, and I was headed out to Nashville to my work, and it was at 8:03 a.m. I was backed up all the way to the bottom of the hill, right in front of White House Water. It's ridiculous that is what it takes to get out of the city of Hendersonville on, as my cohort says, a cutoff road. But that cutoff road is the main alternate lifeline to Wards 1 and what used to be Ward 2, to the peninsula, the Walton Ferry, Saunders Ferry Peninsula. Everybody on that road, in that peninsula, goes from Walton Ferry, Saunders Ferry, because the Gallatin Road, even though we have light synchronization, it's synchronizing us at a snail's pace. That's nothing else we can do about that. But that is the way that for years, I've gone up and down that road. For years, I've come home that way, and as do thousands, I would say thousands of our city citizens. So what I'm asking at this point is clarification. Again, Keith, may I have your expertise here? And is there any way we can get a map of Westlake and a Google map up there so that the constituents can see what we're talking about? Because I want to ask you about Westlake and in particular the road that can go up there.
So Westlake will be hard because we don't have that loaded. Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that.
That was how hard it was, right there.
Damn.
Yeah, I told you it's gonna be hard.
That's a
Jamie, you
that's
just
a beautiful
spoke it into
map.
existence, didn't you? So if everyone can take a gander here and see where we are and what the portion of the road that Lincoln is building. It goes to directly in front of exit 3, is that correct? Or is it not that far?
Yeah, it's about where that red, it'll go about to that red line right through there.
Okay, to
Yeah,
the
see
top of the red line or
rabbit
the
ears?
end of the red
It'll
line?
go that purple all the way to the end of the red. At the end of where it says Rockland RD.
Okay.
It's kind of right in there.
Right there. So they're proposing at this point to build that road.
That's correct.
Their access road for their businesses to conduct business in our city, to work with us and to provide tax dollars for our city. Not only that, but to provide jobs and funding, let's just call it money, to their employers and their investors, correct?
I believe, yes.
Okay, so is there any way that, I know we got this coming up on second reading, is there any way we can get, I mean, I think Alderman Martin came up here and said, are you willing to consider it, the road? I'm not trying to exact anything from anybody. I'll go ahead and say that on the record. I just need a consideration that we will go to the drawing board in good faith and see if we can work something out for them to build their product here, but without impeding our citizenry traffic back and forth to and from their homes on a day-to-day basis. Because they're going to have trucks, they're going to have heavy equipment, they're going to have materials in and out along that little bitty stretch of road right here. And they're going to do a great job. I know it's going to look good. But if we can reduce the risks of injury to our citizenry, then we're doing our job. I would feel remiss if I didn't ask.
Are you talking about a construction
Well,
easement?
it's kind of addressed to you, kind of
Yeah.
addressed to them. Maybe, I don't know, what's the best method, Mayor, to do here? This is what I want to do. Is there anything in the ordinance we could send this back to planning and have them work with it? One more time?
We can't send it back to planning, we could send it back to a committee. I mean, we can't force planning commission to change their recommendation. We could send it back to a committee. However, we also, and I know, Keith, you're looking at me because I'm not saying something. What I'm supposed to also say is that we have a duty to make a decision on this within an adequate amount of time. Is that the correct word?
That's correct.
Appropriate amount of time.
What does that look like? Can someone help me out? What's the appropriate amount of time?
Hold on.
Has there been any delays in this, to this point?
Certainly not a rain delay.
Yeah, no, everything is moved fairly quickly.
So you asked me, how to do that. It'd be a motion to defer. But I'll be honest, we've had several times where you've made a motion to defer and it comes back a couple months later and there's been no change. I don't see why that
Well, this
that
is a
makes sense.
specific request.
Is it for them to build that remaining 2/3?
To consider what would it take for them to build that remaining 2/3, not only them, but another, what does the pathway look like specifically?
Well, we have adopted that as a part of our capital improvement transportation plan, so that connection through there is on our 10-year plan of just, high-priority projects. So
Alderman Martin identified a piece of property that was not accessible. Is that correct? Or you have identified a piece of property that's not accessible?
Are you
to
talking about
this?
the in-between?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little gap in between. The flattest part of this project is on this property.
Okay.
So once you get a little further beyond what we call the bow tie property, then that topo really changes down through there. But
Okay, I withdraw my request.
But it would certainly be something, it would be something with this project or not, that, you know, with that being on our 10-year plan now, for that connection, is to look further into that and look at that for consideration sometime in the near future to actually spend money on the design and of the completion of that, as well as maybe the right-of-way, any additional right-of-way that would be needed.
Thank you. I need to
Okay, thank you.
think about it. Appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Keith. Thank you, Alderman Bergdorf. Alderman Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. Keith, could you stay close, please? I have a question. This drawing that was passed out by our Kimley Horn representative for us to look at shows the deceleration lane proposal, and it shows the road lining up with the driveway into the gas station.
Yes.
Do we need to amend this ordinance to reflect this change?
Yeah, I think it would be, if you approved it this evening, is it already been recommended for approval, or is?
So General Committee recommended for approval.
Yeah.
Planning Commission did as well. We've had one reading, now we're in the second reading.
Has there been a motion tonight?
There's been a motion on this, not on a motion to make any changes since 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I think it would, just to do an amendment to make sure that it's included.
Okay.
Any additional things, like this realignment and the improvement of the roadway as given in the exhibit, and then just maybe note that exhibit that was handed out, Annette,
Okay.
and then include that in the record, and that's all we need.
Okay.
Do we need to add it to the staff comments, or what, just add?
You can just
Add
add
it as an
it.
exhibit.
Yeah, you can just specifically add that as an amendment that, or add it on to the motion. And all the detail of all of this, if this were to get approved, would all be done at the site plan stage.
I am going to do that, but I want to ask you another question first.
Yes.
Who was our consultant that we used on the Westlake plan?
It was Kimley Horn.
Thank you.
Not these gentlemen, but it was
Right,
Kimley Horn.
not the
Yeah.
specific engineer that's here
Yes.
tonight, but it was the Kimley Horn firm. I, thank you, Keith.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
all I have. I just want to say that, to me, sometimes we forget that a conflict of interest means that you stand to benefit from something financially if it happens or if it doesn't happen. And perhaps it means that you have a monetary or other interest that is in conflict with another interest that you're representing. So what we have here is a firm that developed our Westlake plan to benefit our community, and an engineer acting as a technical consultant on a project that directly implements the Westlake plan. That, first of all, I don't know if you can say an engineer who's acting as a technical consultant has an interest in whether it's a yes or a no. They've been hired, they're getting paid. His firm's income does not alter based upon what we vote. There's not a bonus for an engineer for getting a positive vote. But if we were going to argue that, I would say it's not a conflict of interest, it's a compounding of interest. And I want to say to both representatives that are here tonight that I appreciate your work. I appreciate the work that Kimley Horn has done for our city through the Westlake Plan, through our Parks Department. I can't even list all of the things that your firm has helped us do and develop plans for that we can't do with our existing staff. I appreciate all of that work, which you were compensated for, so you don't need a thank you note, right? But just so you know, I do appreciate it. And I think this project is going to benefit our community. We need industrial rental for places to start their business before they are ready to build. We need industrial that can be rented instead of owned from the ground up. We need people to come in and buy lunch from our restaurants because they have good paying jobs that don't require a college degree. I mean, some of them certainly will. This is a benefit to our community. I am so tickled that our economic development team has been able to get this type of investment for Hendersonville. I'm just thrilled with it. All of that said, I do want to make an amendment to include this as an exhibit to the industrial plan development.
Second.
So we have a second from Alderman Sassy. How do you feel about the wording, Lance and Keith? Okay. So we have a motion, a second, to attach the drawing that was given to us as an amendment to this plan. Is that adequate?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got Alderman Sassy and Alderman Martin in the queue to speak. Do you want to speak on this? Should we go ahead and vote on this? You want to speak on this amendment? Okay, Alderman Sassy, go ahead. Thank you, Alderman Collins. We'll come back to you in a few minutes, so go ahead.
Frankly, Alderman Collins stole my thunder here, but it's all right. I'll forgive you. If anyone hasn't seen, I know you guys can't see this, but, you know, if you want a copy of this, shoot me an email, text me, whatever you want. I'll send you a copy of it. It's fine. But I appreciate you guys putting this together. You know, it looks exactly like my blue Sharpie drawing that I made for you. It looks beautiful. It's perfect. It's almost identical. You guys heard my concerns with the safety issue, and you spot on implemented it. I mean, I really appreciate you hearing what I had to say, and understanding the concern that I had, and taking action on it. I mean, I met with Lane, Friday? And here we are a few days later, and they've already got already have a professional drawing on that. So, very impressed. I love what I see here, and I just wanted to thank you guys for that, and to let you know I will be voting for this. Thank you.
Alderman Sassy, thank you. Alderman Martin, did you want to talk about the amendment? No. Okay. So anybody want to discuss the amendment? Okay, Jason, you ready for us? This is on the amendment. All those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. So that passes unanimously. Thank you all. So Alderman Collins, anything else? No, sir. Okay, appreciate that. Alderman Martin.
I'm still concerned about the safety at Rockland Road and not having that second exit. Could we use the voluntary impact fees they paid towards that road?
Do they pay any, Keith? They don't pay any.
You didn't pay any voluntary impact fees?
Keith, can you come on up here, please? And we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't have any voluntary impact fees. We've had those for residential in the past, and then this is a commercial industrial, project, but we don't have those.
All righty. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Martin. Alderman Skidmore.
Yes, thank you. This will be my final comments. I know you're happy for the end of this evening, but that's just part of it. And I'm sure the board's the same way, because they'll say, oh, there's Skidmore again. He's got his light going blinking. Two quick questions. One, dealing with the electric poles on Rockland Road, do you all have to move any, or does NES, or what's the situation with that?
Yes, sir. The existing transmission poles for NES are planned to remain in their current location. That's one reason that moving the drive and aligning it with the gas station really helped for that deceleration lane, because it was in conflict prior. But we're planning to work around those and widen the road on either side so that we don't have to move the poles. And we're going to build the sidewalk. At times, we may have to go around the poles.
Okay. And the sidewalk is going to extend just to the points of your property, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We'll connect to the sidewalk that was constructed by the car wash, and then we'll run it in our entire frontage along Rockland Road, and then we're building the 10-foot sidewalk on the new public street to be dedicated to the city.
Okay. And then I just have two more questions, and then I'm done. So you said earlier in the evening that if there was a drainage problem with Rockland, that it would be looked at by our Public Works Committee or the planning,
Yes, sir, engineering department, Mr.
yeah,
Wizenreed.
engineering
Yes, sir.
department, yeah. That's what I was trying to, for some reason, I couldn't think that, what that was, the engineering, okay. So if you were to tell them, that- and there's obviously, there's a drainage problem, they say, well, it's not because we caused it. What are you gonna do? Just say, no, we're not gonna do anything with it because we didn't cause it?
It's hard to answer that question because I don't know what it is. But if there's something obstructing the flow for it to get to our property, we will certainly do everything in our power to improve the situation.
Well,
I don't know if it needs a new cross drain. I'm not sure what it needs.
Well, I would just say, if I were y'all, I'd just go to the car wash people and Raceway or Racetrack and Speedway and ask them, because I'm sure they're very aware of it, if you have trouble finding out.
Yeah, we will certainly will ask the neighbors where the issue is.
Okay.
And happy to have more conversations with you about it, Alderman Skidmore, as well.
Okay, well,
But
then
life
and I
safety
appreciate that.
issues are serious issues, obviously,
Yes,
for
they
an
are.
engineer and for the residents.
Just like Alderman Bergdorf said, he was backed up all the way on Rockland, man. And you know what? We're not joking. We're serious about that. I mean, we really, truly are. I'm not sitting here trying to get camera time or because I don't play those games. But when I'm serious about something, I'll take all the time it needs. I can tell you, and it's my ward, and that's what I'm doing. So, regardless of whether I'm going to lose or not, it doesn't matter to me. But what matters to me is the fact that you guys know this, and then if I'm still in this seat, and you all have built that stuff, and I get drainage problems, I'm not calling Public Works. I'm calling you guys. I'm going to tell you right now, and don't think I won't, because I will. And you'll probably just, I don't know what you're going to do. I hope you'll do what's right for the city and for the people that live in this peninsula, because the traffic, I'm telling you, comes down that road 5 days a week. It's backed up, and that's just, Rockland, as I told you guys before 2 weeks ago, that used to be the main drag in Hendersonville. That was Main Street, Rockland Road, believe it or not, but it was. And people use that, as my colleagues on this side of the aisle said, they cut off, and it is a cutoff. That's a saying that we have in Hendersonville. It's sort of like when you're like us from the South and we have slang words. Well, that's what that is. It's a cutoff to go to your house on the peninsula, because they go down there and they either go on Imperial Boulevard or they'll turn on Riviera, then take an immediate left on Harbor and go down to Cumberland Shores, and then go out onto Walton Ferry, and boom, they've cut serious time on their drive home. And I bet y'all have done that before too. When you want to get home, you find your little cutoffs.
I've used the cutoff before.
Yep.
So.
You all use your cutoffs, and you have that.
Yeah.
So I want you to.
I don't want to. If I ever indicated we downplayed the traffic, we didn't mean to. We certainly understand the concerns, and that's why we're spending money out there to widen the road and add more storage in that AM peak.
I
so
appreciate
more
that,
cars
guys.
can
Alderman
stack out.
Skidmore, any other questions?
Yes, I do. I told you I had one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So this evening, and I don't know if it'll even get a second, but it might, and we'll vote on it. I would like to amend this and put and make them an amendment saying that we want to extend the road to Center Point South, I think it is. So I want them to build the road from the point they've agreed to on to Center Point South, and I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion, a second from Alderman Martin. Lance, Keith, since they don't own the right-of-way, what would the city have to do to get the right-of-way to force them to do that? What? Lance?
I just don't know that we can require somebody to provide that infrastructure when they don't own the property and don't have the rights to, unless I'm missing something.
Can you add anything, Keith, that would you have a different opinion? No? Alderman Skidmore, I appreciate it. I'd like to have a road there, but from what I'm hearing, we can't force somebody to build a road on somebody else's property.
Well, just point of information here, it's Robert's Rules of Order here. I made a motion, it was properly seconded, it was a proper motion, so we either vote it down or not. And if you choose to vote it down, that's your prerogative. I've never criticized anybody on this board about how they vote, and I've always said this, even when my mother was alive and she agreed to it. I'll never criticize anybody on how they vote unless I'm running against them. Then they're open season.
I don't think I call it out of order. And Alderman Skidmore, I'm not denying that we should vote on it at all.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm just telling you, because you were trying to act that we weren't gonna vote on it because you can't see how they can acquire the land. Well, we can work on that. That's not, I'm not saying that it's impossible. You know, I think it's something that if we put in there, that we try to do it, and if they can't, then either they can come back to the planning commission or they can come back to the board and say, we can't do this. We've tried and there's nothing we can do about it. But see, the thing about it is, if you were to build that road back there, they could have all their construction companies and all their workers that are using this road. If they were to build it first, there wouldn't be any problem. You would just have the regular problems we have on Rockland Road. And I'm serious about that. You cannot, I'm just telling you, I know what it's going to be like. It's just like, well, I'm not going to say that, but.
So so your motion is that they would be required to build the road all the way to South Center Point Road?
Yes, okay. That's part of the plan, yes, it is. And there was a proper motion, which I made a proper motion under Robert's Rules of Orders, and there was a proper second. There was 3 seconds, actually. 3 people said they were second of what I heard. And I don't see me saying that I'm out of order or anything of that nature, dealing with the rule of parliamentary procedure.
No, you're fine. It's just time. It's just we've got a couple other people want to speak.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Do they want to speak to my amendment?
Well, I'm about to ask them.
Okay.
So Alderman Collins, you pressed your button. Did you want to speak on the amendment? Yes. Okay, go ahead, Alderman Collins.
I'm not going to support the amendment because I think that it has been indicated to us from the representatives that the math won't math with the entire road. And the other thing is that requiring them to build on land they don't own would potentially require us to use eminent domain, which is certainly not a vote I'm willing to set myself up for tonight. So I can't support the amendment. I appreciate the thought behind it being made. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman Collins. I'm close to that decision myself, but I have a question. So if we ask them to build the road, I've heard 2 different things, and it's probably my confusion. One is it's private property. Part of it is private property that we or they would have to acquire. And I also heard that it was the county of Goodlettsville, the city of Goodlettsville property, not their property, but it was on the city of Goodlettsville, which if we were to do eminent domain, we couldn't because we don't, it's not in our city. Is that correct?
It is in our city.
It is in the city,
But the
okay.
city
I thought I
owns
heard
it,
that
yeah.
part of that road
Yeah.
would not be. Okay. But I'm not going to support it, but thank you.
Alderman Dixon, thank you. Alderman Martin, did you want to speak on this?
No.
Okay. So, the motion is that we require the applicant to build a road all the way to South Center Point Road. Jason, you ready for us? All those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. So that fails 4-8. Those voting in favor, Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, Martin, and Sassy. Those voting against, Alderman Ward and Garza, and myself. Alderman Dixon, Goodwin, Garten, Collins, and Evans. So we're back to Alderman Skidmore. Anything else, Alderman Skidmore?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I guess I've spoken so much it's broken, right?
Hit reset.
Oh.
There
You're
we
on-
go,
you're on
thank
now.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, just a final comment. I appreciate you guys coming tonight, I do. I see the handwriting on the wall, but it would be remiss if I did not speak up for our ward and show you, or at least tell you of the problems that I think that could possibly happen to that area. I certainly hope that you don't have them. You've done, as far as I know, and like I said, I'm chairman of Public Works. You've done really good work in our community. I hope you didn't take offense to what I was doing, but if you did, that's just the way the ball rolls. And if you come back and find something else, and if I agree with it, I'll fight for it, just like I fought for Ward 1 tonight. And no disrespect to Kimberly Horn, but I'm really concerned about that. And I really would like to discuss that more, but that's against the rule of proper procedure to discuss that now. But I think I'm gonna have to go to the mayor's office and as our city attorney's office to discuss that, because I don't like it. I think there's something that just doesn't pass my smell test. And I'll leave that at that, but thank you, Mayor, and thank you guys for coming to our community. Thank
Alderman
you.
Skidmore, thank you. Alderman Martin.
I just had a quick question for the developer. Since the road would benefit your property, would you be amenable to offering a impact fee of like a 1%, $500,000 that the city could use to expedite the construction of that road?
Are you asking in addition to the impact fee pursuant to the building permit?
No, we don't have impact fees. We will, but, so it's completely voluntary.
Yeah, so I'm gonna look to our Kimley Horn consultant who's calculated the fees that we've got for this. You want to come up here, Parks, and elaborate?
Could you repeat that again? Who your consultant there is?
This is another representative from Kimley Horn.
Another one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, these three gentlemen are all from Kimley Horn.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you've got three, I'm not on, so.
Alderman Skidmore, hold on here. Let's go ahead with him, and then I'll come back to you in a second, okay?
Well, I
Okay.
just wanted clarification, but that's okay, I'm not gonna fight with you on it.
Go ahead, give us your name and your role.
Parks Ball, I'm with Kimley Horn, the civil engineer on the project. And we could defer to Keith on this, but there are several fees that would be paid towards the city in the effect of $450,000 for this construction project to be taken forward. So there would be fees, maybe not voluntary impact fees for this specific roadway construction, but.
Alderman Martin, anything else?
Is that accurate, Keith? You can just nod your head.
Yeah, probably when you put it all together, I don't have those figures, but most of that would probably be the building permit fees themselves for buildings of that.
As well as the utility fee.
And the utility tap-on fees, could be all of that. But those are all fees that are going to, going for the applications for the different permits and things like that. And there may be some tree bank money that they may be putting in as well. I'm not sure how much that is, but there'll probably be money that they'll be giving to the tree bank because they have a lot of mature trees on parts of the property that they'll be removing, and so then that funds the tree bank. But everything other than the tree bank is just going toward applications.
All right, for the city to
permits.
use?
Yeah, that's
All
correct.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Martin, thank you. Alderman Skidmore, anything else?
Yes, just, and I'm not gonna get mad or anything like that, but I'm curious that you have 3 representatives of Kimberly, what was it again?
It's Kimley Horn, sir.
Kimberly Horn.
Yes, sir.
This evening, and that they do, what I would like, city staff, or I don't know, whether it would be in planning or public works or what, but how much money that the city has asked from Kimberly Horn,
Yes, sir.
how much we have paid them as a city, how much we've paid these guys, and then I'm not going to ask you because it's none of my business how much you've paid them. So I can't, because you don't have to tell me anything on that, and I'm not even asking you. But we can always guesstimate on how much that would, but it doesn't have anything to do with Lincoln Properties, so y'all are safe. But I would like to know from the city of Hendersonville how much in the past 2 or 3 years, let's just say, how much money that the city has paid Kimberly Horn or whatever, whoever they are. For some reason, I can't keep butchering their name. And then also, how many people that they've represented that has been before this board. And I would like to know that. I'm not going to say immediately because that's a lot of work that we could be doing other things. But I think that it is critical that we know about that because it just seems like you're paying somebody for you, and then yet they like Westlake for let's just say the land use plan, and then they're representing, I'm not going to say Lincoln, but just say they are representing somebody else, and they're doing the work that's inside the Westlake. It just seems like that is a conflict to me. Yep. And if you all think that I'm wrong, please get up here and you can say, Skidmore, you are wrong, and here's why. And I would really, or if you don't want to do it on the TV, you can call me or you can step outside after the meeting and say, Skid, this is the reason why that it's proper. I just don't think it's proper. I really don't. There's other agencies that you could have worked for, but it just seems like there's some kind of conflict. So I would like to know, and I don't know, I say 4 weeks from now, maybe in September or October, that's fine. Because I know that sounds like it's busy work, but it's serious work because, Mayor, it is tax money for the people of Hendersonville.
Amen.
And they deserve, or they at least need the right to know where their money's going.
Yep.
So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Skidmore.
Thank
Jason,
you.
you ready for us? So we have one amendment, and that was to take that drawing and add that as an attachment to this. And now we're ready to vote on second reading of ordinance 2025-13. Those in favor, press the green button. Those opposed, press the red. So that passes 9-3. Those voting opposed, Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, and Martin. Those in favor, Alderman Ward, Sassy, Garza, myself. Alderman Dixon, Goodwin, Garten, Collins, and Evans. Alderman Dixon, would you like to make a motion to take a break? We have a motion to take a 5-minute recess, and we have a second from Alderman Collins. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. Who abstained? I did. Alderman Skidmore abstained. No. Then we are going to take a 5-minute break. Thank you all. Here we go. Thank you. Next, we have second reading of ordinance 2025-14. This is an ordinance imposing a 9-month moratorium on the acceptance, review, and approval of applications and permits for high-density residential developments within the city of Hendersonville, Tennessee. Alderman Martin, do you have a motion? We have a motion and a second from Alderman Sassy. Alderman Collins, go ahead.
I want to talk about what our market looks like from the standpoint of obtainability of housing in Hendersonville. And I specifically want to talk about that through the lens of the income of the people who live in Hendersonville and the income that the employers within the microeconomy of Hendersonville offer to people who work here, and they are not necessarily the same people that live here. So in 2020, the average household income for Hendersonville residents was about $82,000 a year. In 2020, through July, because that's when things changed, we all know what 2020 was, the average sale price for a house was $380,000. So to obtain that home with a 10% down payment, you had to have a household income of $102,000. With 20% down, you had to have a household income of $92,000. So what we see at the year of 2020 through July is that the average home in Hendersonville could be purchased by a family earning between $92,000 and $102,000, depending upon what percentage they put down. And that was about, depending on the percentage, $10,000 to $20,000 shy of what our average household income in Hendersonville was in 2020. But things have changed. In the year 2025, our average household income now is $112,000 per household. The sales price has gone from $380,000 to $626,000. So those have both increased, but not near the same rate. A 10% down payment to buy that average house of $626,000, your income needs to be $168,000. If you have a 20% down payment, $152,000. So what we see now is that the gap between obtaining an average home in Hendersonville and the average household salary for a Hendersonvillian is $40,000 to $56,000 shy. And that has happened in the past 4.5 years. It's been a drastic change. So we tend to talk about obtainability of housing and talk about how our kids can afford to live here. And I think that in 2020, it was an issue that was more associated with youth. But I think in 2025, it's everybody. And whenever I research and learn information like this, I think about it from the lens of my own personal experience. So I am going to share personal information with you. 10 years ago, we built our house in the Hunt Club, and I love it. And I love our neighbors, and I love our neighborhood. It's not a huge house. It's about 2,500, 2,600 square feet. It's great, though. Love, love, love it. We paid $320,000 for it. Our household income is far above average for the city of Hendersonville. So probably we could afford more, but from our perspective, this is what we can afford. So $320,000 today. I looked on Zillow, and I know there are realtors here, and y'all all hate Zillow. I'm so sorry. But I did look on Zillow, and there were, in the city of Hendersonville, I found 6 single-family homes for under $350,000 today. I saw land without a home, so unless I want to live in a camper or a tent, I can't do that. And I saw multifamily dwellings. I didn't see very many of those below $350,000. So I cannot afford to live in Hendersonville. Had I not purchased my home 10 years ago when we were fortunate enough to be able to build in the Hunt Club neighborhood. Before this meeting, I spoke with a policeman and a retired veteran just walking into the meeting. The police officer would like to live in Hendersonville, but he cannot afford to do that. The retired veteran does live in Hendersonville in multifamily housing. These are fine people that make fine neighbors and contribute to our community. One of them lives here multifamily and the other one cannot. I also want to say that an income level of $168,000 and $152,000 for a family is, I'll just be very blunt. I've had people tell me that the kind of people who live there are not the kind of people we want, or they're not like us. Well, they are like me. They're very much like me. One thing I think we've all noticed is that we've had a lot of people from out of state move here since COVID. And what these numbers show is that Hendersonville's microeconomy does not support Hendersonville's housing market. So, of course, the only people who can afford to live here are people who come from out of state. So I do want us to think about during the prayer, the pastor who was here said that the word city was mentioned in the Bible 112 times, and he spoke that God cares about the culture of our cities. And how does offering, we do offer more than one type of housing, but discontinuing or stopping and having a negative light on offering more than one type of housing to our residents, how that might affect our culture, particularly when it encourages people from out of state to move here in droves. And the people from out of state that have moved here, they have a lot to offer us. I have nothing against them, and they're wonderful people. I've worked with many of them. I'm friends with many of them. They're my neighbors because they bought the houses in my neighborhood, and they're my constituents, certainly. I am not complaining about that, but do not be deceived that it does not change the culture of our city when we cannot afford our own houses. And I don't believe that it is just about the youth or the children that cannot afford our houses here. I am not really sure, even now, if I am going to vote to support the moratorium or not. I think that there are a couple of issues. The stigma that we have on obtainability of housing is outdated, at least prior to 2020. And it is not one that I think benefits our city. I'm worried that we're going to get into a lawsuit that we don't need and won't benefit our community because this is a 9-month pause. So I don't know if we need to be sued over that. I also hear the complaints about traffic, and those are valid. And I've just talked myself into it. I'm not going to be able to vote for this. I just can't. I don't think pausing for 9 months will have any significant benefit. I think it could have really significant harm because it will ricochet well beyond the 9 months. I appreciate having the opportunity to get this off of my chest. I don't know if it will change any of your minds, but it's important to me that Hendersonville stay true to its character, and we need the people who live here to be able to afford to continue to live here. Thank you.
Alderman Collins, thank you. Alderman Evans.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not really quite sure where I got this, but I wanted to bring up, and I think it might have come from you, Director Free, and it's the, I think it was the high-density moratorium residential development exhibit. I think that came from you.
And when I was looking at this and studying that, and there's 5 developments that are already vested that would have fallen under this, and I'll just point them out, not going to belabor the point, but that's Willowbrook Phase 2, 265 units, it's almost 17 units per acre. Anderson Park, 192 units at 8.78 units per acre, and Glenbrook Village North, 297, that's 11.44 units per acre. And all those are vacant planned development. They've already been approved or they're already in the process. But I do want to note, because it came up in the last meeting, that Grace Place Ministries is on this list, and we were led to believe, and I think maybe it was just a kind of in passing, we weren't quite sure, but there's 42 units there, units per acre of 9.55. This is one of those things that's near and dear to a lot of us, and that we're happy to see this happening in our community. That would have fallen under this moratorium and wouldn't have happened had we had this moratorium. So I just want to mention that, but then also, we also asked about, well, what's out there that's non-vested, that's kind of in the hopper, if you will, and there's only 2. One was Hickory Bay Towers, 51 units, and, you know, Hickory Bay Towers has been here forever, and I guess it's just adding on to that. It's vacant land. And then there's Lisa Drive, there's 2 lots to put 12 units there. So we're not talking a lot there. But I do have a question for Director Free, if I may. There's an additional note here that says any assisted living facilities, independent living facilities, and nursing homes would include any 8+ unit acre development would fall under this high density classification. So what I'm reading there, are we saying that we could not entertain any kind of assisted living or independent living or anything like those facilities within the city during this 9-month moratorium or longer?
Yes, that'd be correct if it was over 8 units an acre.
Okay.
And those are allowed in commercial zone, so there really isn't a way to really lay it all out. It's just generally speaking.
Thank you. So which leads me to my question about the property at Twitty City or whatever it's called. Where does that fall in this? Because isn't that the same kind of thing? Because wasn't it going to be planned development? I mean, as far as assisted living in there as well, and does that fall in here, or is this vested, or where does that land with this?
It is. That's currently vested. It has a preliminary development plan, but it was just under that 8 unit, as well as was Nearwater. So I think Nearwater was like 7.9, and I believe TBN, that development, was 7.8.
Okay.
So it was close.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. Thank you, that's all I had. So in the last meeting, I did say for various reasons why I voted no on this, and as you can imagine, I had a lot of comments directed at me on social media. People called me, and for the most part, they engaged in thoughtful conversation. And that's really what we're looking for. We can all have difference of opinions, and we can might reach a different conclusion to something. But what I found when I had conversations with people is they thought that I was saying no to that I was for apartments. And when you had a thoughtful conversation with them, you filled them in on what you're saying and why you did that. They came around and said, okay, well, I understand where you're coming from. And I think that's really what, if people would just pause for a minute and listen, as opposed to just speaking and feeling like they have to talk. Sometimes, I keep going back to that adage of God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we need to listen twice as much as we talk. But I did listen to those people, and I did field a lot of questions with people who understood what I was trying to get at about the affordable, attainable housing. And then probably the biggest thing for me, and I'll say this, is we have a planning department that's excellent, and I would not, I would pit them against anyone else, and I think they do an excellent job. And as well with our planning commission, and then with BOMA, I think we have the processes already in place, and we should trust the process that we do have, follow through that, and vote on each one of these issues on its own merits, and not just putting a blanket thing out there that says, okay, well, we're just going to do this. And I get it, that we're talking about 9 months, and 9 months could be a short time, but I keep going back to the fact that what is this going to do for us long-term? Are there going to be some consequences to this long-term of doing this? My thought is, let's trust the process. Let's trust the departments and the committees that serve us well, and trust our instincts as BOMA to vote on these on its individual merits and not as a blanket proposal. Thank you.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman Evans, and particularly Alderman Collins, for your heartfelt, and you almost made me change my vote. But I'm going to tell why I'm not. Those statistics that you read, they're not alarming. I'm aware of them, but it's sad. And I actually don't think that Hendersonville is the only city that is suffering from this. But in the end, I'm sitting in the seat because my constituents put me here. And it is not about what I want. It's about what they want. And I overwhelmingly was hit with, we want this. I don't know that they all understand that I, as well, feel like 9 months is not a lot of time, and I don't know what it will do for the city, and we're going through a lot of red tape for 9 months, but I'm willing to go through the process with you guys. I'm here. I'm going to vote for what my constituents want. They want the moratorium. I heard you loud and clear, and that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Alderman Dixon, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mayor. We have to look at this moratorium globally as a way to, and we've just had perfect evidence of the discussion of impact fees. We discussed the Lincoln property ad nauseum, and Alderman Martin brought up a very good point regarding using the voluntary impact fees that the Lincoln property may be able to provide to help build the roads and improve the infrastructure to allow accessibility and safety to the rest of our citizenry. But alas, we don't have voluntary impact fees on that property. That's a loss right there. So this particular ordinance, it's not talking about affordable housing. It's not talking about solely apartments. It's not talking about anything other than a pause to discuss and consider the impact fee study that we're addressing as a body. I mean, it's many of my cohorts up here have identified affordable housing as an issue. We know the city to the north, as my good friend Alderman Skidmore says, they're addressing it. Goodlettsville is addressing it. Madison is addressing it. All cities surrounding us are addressing the affordable or attainable housing. Let's see how theirs works out, and then we can have a roadmap on where to go from there. But first, push the pause on here on any more multifamily homes, because not only what Alderman Dixon said is correct, my constituents have begged us and told us to vote no for this, to support this ordinance. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Thank you, guys.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Garza.
Yes, and Rachel, thank you so much for what you brought up. I want to say a few things on affordable housing. I moved here a long time ago, so it worked out well for me, and, you know, I'm getting a residual effect now with what the house is worth, of course, what the taxes are too. When these developments come in, and I'll use Nearwater as an example, not regarding the rental thing, that's kind of, you know, should be affordable, but it's not. I mean, they're $429,000. I mean, a young man or woman making, you know, 60,000, our police officer probably couldn't afford a mortgage here. So unless we're going to build some kind of special affordable housing, which will require all kinds of zoning issues, right, Keith? I don't know when Hendersonville is going to be affordable for the young people. I think we got past that. Unfortunately, I hate it. I mean, I absolutely hate that it's that way, but I don't know how we get past that. Apartments are I'm not a big apartment fan, even though I lived in some when I was growing up. But those are just rentals, and nobody's getting any equity and building any value in their life in an apartment. So when I think about things like high density, I'm really not thinking about apartments, even though I know some are on here. I'm looking at some type of affordable home that's going to require a whole bunch of smart engineers to figure out how to do that, and a whole lot of builders who aren't going to charge way more than it should be. So I just want to say that about this. But as far as the moratorium goes, waiting 9 months, it's not the end of the world, but one of our biggest problems we have is sometimes we get going so fast because we're growing so fast that we miss things. When you hear guys talking about driveways coming in or curves coming in and water on the street, it sounds like we're getting real trivial. But if we don't address these things now, we're going to address them later. It's going to cost a lot more, and we're going to end up paying for it, not the developers. So this is just a way, I think, for us to take a look, step back, do to each one of these people who come to us and say, okay, what are you going to do in 9 months? We're going to do this, this, this. It gives us 9 months, and not stretching the planning department or codes or anybody else to get our butts in line in what we need, because traffic is a problem, and we're doing a lot for it with the traffic studies and the new stoplights. And I agree with Rockland Roads could be a problem too. And I just want to jump back to that. Currently, on Rockland, we did a zoning change. Had we not done a zoning change, somebody could come in there as it was developed, and Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, as it was zoned, and build tomorrow and not have to touch a road. Is that true? That's what I'm talking about, but I'm not talking about link. I'm talking about the way it was zoned. Someone could come in there. We did a zoning change tonight, correct? I was hoping you were going to come up there.
Yeah, that's a planned, existing was a previous plan development, and this plan development replaced it. But anybody building there would have had to build the road, and part of that requirement of building the road is probably what it took a while to find the right party
Who wanted to
that could
spend the
build the
money
road. That's correct.
to build a road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
All right, thank you. So I just want to close by saying that I would love for Hendersonville to have somewhat of a reputation, not a loose one, for some type of affordable housing in the future. I don't know what that looks like. You know, when I was growing up and thing, you know, my first house, I wouldn't want to live in today. So I think we're losing some of that. We don't, the old neighborhoods, 1, 2, and 3, some of it's commercial, and people are, even young kids are going into a house. The house right down the street from me is with 1,800 square feet, $389,000. It's tiny. If you got 2 kids or 3 kids, it's real tiny. So that's what you're at. You know, I bought in that neighborhood 25 years ago, and, you know, it's nothing. But those times are gone. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This moratorium is really just to slow us down. And in a weird way, I know there's some developers here, slow down the developers too. So that's all I'd say. I'm in favor of it. I'm one of the sponsors of it. That's all I have.
Alderman Garza, thank you. Alderman Collins.
There is something I forgot to say because I got myself worked up that I wanted to bring up. But I also just wanted to clarify that I am not speaking in support of or even about subsidized housing. I'm just talking about housing that our microeconomy of Hendersonville supports as obtainable. And so the one thing on here that I forgot to say is the current household income of $112,000 translates into a mortgage 10% down, that would be $341,000 worth of house that you could purchase. And with 20% down, that would be $377,000 worth of house that you can purchase. The average down payment for first-time buyers is 18%, which did surprise me because that certainly wasn't the case for my family. But the average down payment overall is 9%. So both those numbers actually are relevant. So $341,000 to $377,000 is what the people who live here, who currently make up the fabric of this community, can afford to buy. And what that looks like, according to the information that Director Free sent us earlier today, we see Anderson Park has a density level of 8.78. Their houses currently are about $369,000. Their multifamily homes, it's a lovely neighborhood. I've worked there some. It's really quiet, of course, it's not all the way built yet. But good people live there, and it's obtainable, not affordable, because I'm not really talking about subsidized housing. I think with the percentage that we're built out, that ship has probably already sailed. But having housing that the people who live here can afford to purchase is important to me. And the vehicle to get us there is not only offering single-family homes. One type of housing is not diverse enough to serve our community's current needs. It is good enough to serve the communities that want to move here from out of state. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Alderman Skidmore.
Thank you. I really wasn't going to say anything about this because I think it's, to me, you either vote this up or you vote it down. And there is no black and white in this. There's no gray in this. You either like it or you don't. And I've heard several comments tonight on why that I'm for it or why I'm against it or why I'm not sure or I don't really know, because it is a hard decision to make. But when you look, this is just me as an alderman or not even as much as an alderman as it is just a citizen. But if you look around our community, we are very isolated in a way because of the things that affect people, we're taking action on, whether you like it or, whether you vote for it or you don't, we're taking action on it. And this is one that is. So back to what I was saying, I'm looking at this as a citizen. I look at, God help them, the city to the north here. I really do, because and I said this last time, they are experiencing what we experienced in the 80s and 90s of Hendersonville. But we were just, by the grace of God and the Board of Aldermen at that and those times, because I was here, believe it or not, back in those days. I was a young man. And we saw the foresight of saying we need to slow down on a complex. Now, I'm not saying we stopped apartments, because we didn't. But we slowed it down, and we slowed it down to the best that we could. So now you look at the north, you even can look at the south, at Rivergate, what's going on there. Oh, Lord, when that thing's built, you're not going to have any problems with apartments. But, so you've got that. You go to our west, it's the same thing. You go to our east, it's the same thing. Happening in Robertson County, all that, up there. So what really so all that is a concern for Hendersonville. You got to look at this thing. I mean, it's like we've been talking about it, but we really, at least in my estimation, we're missing the point about the 9-month holding. Right now, I don't know I want y'all to really think about this for a minute. And this scares me to death when I think about this not for our city, but for our county. With all the high density development that has transpired to the northern part of our county, look how many schools are going to have to be built for them, not us, but for all that up there, several thousands and thousands of people that are eventually going to be. Where are they going to go to school? I mean, seriously, where are they going to go to school? They're going to have to start building additional schools. Not here in Hendersonville, because we're slowing things down. We're taking a pause to try to get everything in order with our transportation. The schooling, we really don't have a jurisdiction over because it's the county. But yes, we do still pay taxes to the county, and I'm telling you, it's coming. I can assure you. And Gallatin, I shouldn't even said that. I know. God forgive me. Don't hit me. Don't strike me when I get outside. I'll run to my car. City by the North. I don't know whether they know or they've even thought about what they're doing in terms of that. Now, I'm not saying that I just am against development, because I'm not. Because I understood, and I used to be really bad about this when I was younger. But as I've gotten older, I understand, and I've spoken to my people that are in the development community. And it's not they didn't make me realize, but they made me understand we need development, because a city will fold if you don't have a development. And I understand that. But right now, we've got so many building projects going on in town. We need to play catch up. And then after 9 months, when this is over with, we can get back, hopefully, with a new realization of how the city of Hendersonville needs to grow. And I really believe that. I think it's proper, and I think I'm ready to call the question, Mayor.
We've got a motion to call the question. Do we have a second? We have a second from Alderman Martin. This takes a 2/3 vote, which will we have nobody else in the queue to speak, so this takes a two-thirds vote, which will require 8 of us to approve. So Jason, can you pull this up? All those in favor of calling the question, please press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. We missed an Alderman Garten. There we go. Missed a couple people. Alderman Garten, Alderman Evans, Alderman Dixon. So we have 1 no vote. That's Alderman Evans. But with the 8 votes necessary, it passes 11-1. Jason, can you pull up? Okay. So now we're going to vote on second reading of Ordinance 2021-14 for the 9-month moratorium. All those in favor press the green button. Those opposed press the red one. Alderman Evans and Alderman Garten. Alderman Evans. So that passes 10-2. Those voting opposed is Alderman Collins and Evans. Those voting in favor are Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, Ward, Martin, Sassy, Garza, Dixon, Goodwin, Garten, and myself. Next, we have first reading of Ordinance 2025-12. This is an ordinance to amend Hendersonville Municipal Code Title IV, Municipal Personnel, Chapter 2, Personnel Merit System, relative to Job Classification Plan Review. Alderman Dixon, Alderman Goodwin, would you all like to make motions? We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin, a second from Alderman Dixon. Would you all like to speak? Go ahead, Alderman Goodwin. What's,
Ours was doing that a while ago where it was doubling the lines so you couldn't read it.
I can't see where we are.
Yeah.
so,
Can we scroll?
Jason, can you scroll to where we are on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to go down a little bit. Go ahead, Jason. Oh, hold on. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, I cannot.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha, okay. Alderman Goodwin.
Alderman Dixon's going first.
Okay, Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to take everybody back in time. In 2024 or 23, I can't remember, we did the last pay study. Was it 23, Jesse? 23, 24. And we didn't make any substantial moves with the data that we had that supported that we had a large section of our public safety that was being underpaid based on that pay study. And then fast forward to earlier this year, when we had a critical issue for the city that we addressed, and we used that pay study and as our guidance to say, hey, we've got to give our police more money because we are in a critical situation of manning the crime in our city. And so then, fast forward to working on our budget for this year, we went back and forth with that pay study, and we had lots of questions about how we build a pay study, but we really didn't have anything written down. We had no process where we wrote down what we do to bid out that process, to develop the criteria for that process, any parameters around that pay study and that process. And I'm a process person, and so is Alderman Goodwin, and we both asked the city to, the city employees to please give us something in writing that we can put in an ordinance to say this is what you do for a pay study, a municipal pay study. So I would like to ask our COO, Mr. Etkenroth, to come, and if anybody has any questions. I did not change a lot in the ordinance. What they did was take our municipal code, Title IV, and added it in there. And it may need some room for improvement, but basically it documents what we did in the last pay study.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
Along with giving them some guidance and criteria, one thing that I thought was really important was going from 5 years to 4 years. 5 years is way too long with all the competing agencies. So that was one thing that I wanted to see in the ordinance that we put in this one. I think it'd probably be too costly to do it every 3, but definitely every 4 or 5 is way too long. And Mr. Eckenroth can bring us up to speed on everything else.
Good.
Thank you. So the changes, as Alderman Goodwin has discussed, is this changes from 5 years to 4 years. So it makes the report a little more current. We're not going to wait 5 years. We're going to do 4 years. It establishes some basic criteria. We're not necessarily locked into these. The ordinance says we should, but it talks about some analysis that we'd consider when we're comparing to other cities, which would be location, population, size of the government, the number of employees, the size of the government budget. And then another one was market competitors, so agencies that regularly draw employees away from the city, that should be considered. And then TCRS, defined benefit employers. And then at the bottom, there's an asterisk too for other factors of significant importance that either our pay consultant or HR deems as important. So when we hire a pay consultant to do this, that's what they do for a living. So they may have additional criteria. This may not be, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 12 years from now, some of these items may change. So it's not necessarily locking us into a specific structure, but it gives some structure where before we don't really have any structure in our municipal code on the criteria that we consider when we go out and do a pay study. So from a staff perspective, it gives us more perspective and it kind of gives us a direction to shoot for when we're doing our pay studies.
Alderman Goodwin, anything else? Appreciate that. Alderman Collins.
I have a question for Jesse. I'm going to list off a bunch of different types of pay, and I would like for you to tell me if they are all considered supplemental pay. Hazard pay, for example, that the motorcycle police officers get, negotiator pay, clothing, Spanish speaker, longevity, overtime, shift differential, SWAT pay, bicycle police officer pay, dive team, honor guard, EMT, hazardous material, paramedic, education pay.
So those are supplemental to the pay grade. When we have a pay grade system, and they identify a base pay. So all those items that you discussed would add to those base pay amounts.
Okay. So I would like to offer an amendment. First of all, let me just clarify. Do we have a category called stipend? For example, for clothing allowance for police detective?
Yes, our HR director is shaking his head, so I want to say yes.
Are there any other supplemental stipend? Of course, vacation, holiday, sick pay. Are there any other ways that people earn a dime around here? I know a lot, but I don't trust that I know all of this.
So there are different ways that employees can earn. What you brought up with the uniform allowance, that is in our municipal code. It's specific to criminal investigators. There's on-call pay. So, for example, like a parks employee or a roads employee who has to be called in the evening if there's a storm that comes through and they get called into work, there's on-call pay that they would get with that. You've mentioned some of the others, hazmat, EMT. There are a number of different ones that are listed for employees. K-9, yeah, mounted patrol. Chief,
Are those all considered supplemental?
so yeah, they're
Is
in
that how
addition
we-
to their base rate of pay, right? So they get paid an hourly wage, and then on top of that, they would get paid those additional amounts.
And longevity also falls under that category?
For hourly employees, yes. So for hourly employees, they have a longevity for overtime calculation that gets added in, and so they'll get that on top of it. You'd mentioned honor guard. That's not one that is part of our pay, so we don't, at least what's part of the city stipends, additional pays. Honor guard is not one of them. That might be something that's unique to police or fire, but it doesn't go through payroll. There may be an additional duty that they perform, but that's not anything that we would issue pay for.
Okay. So what I would like to do is I want to offer an amendment to study all forms of supplemental pay currently being provided by our city, so we can compare those to what other municipalities are paying. I also want to look at if other municipalities are paying supplemental pay for categories that we are not providing pay. For example, so that's going to be my amendment. But an example of a category where other communities are paying and we are not is for police officers who are on call, they don't get extra money for being on call. Is my understanding. And other communities around us are paying something for that. So I'd like to know, I'd like to look at not just the salary portion during the pay study, but all of the ways that we pay people and compare those to how our competitors are paying people. So my amendment is to study all forms of supplemental pay, including vacation, holiday, sick pay, and to look at what our target cities may be paying supplemental pay for that we are not currently paying.
Hey, Alderman Collins, would you consider, since this is first reading, would you consider holding off till second reading? So we can get that together and make sure what exactly supplemental pay or what our opportunities are? Because I'm not sure we actually have anybody on standby in fire and police.
I've spoken with police officers who told me that they're on call if there's for example, a fatality accident, and they're not on duty, they get called in.
Do you want to go forward with this tonight, or are you willing to wait a couple weeks? I mean, you're certainly within your right to go forward. I'm just.
I'm willing to wait a couple weeks, and I want to warn you that I also want to look at what the ordinance includes already to look at. I think I've had too much cough syrup, guys. I'm so sorry.
Another reason to put it off for 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Look at all my cough. I'm dying here. But the ordinance already says let's look at that we're in the legacy plan for our pension. And that certainly has a large impact on our net pay that people receive. I'd like for us to also look at how much other our competitive people are paying for health insurance, because that has quite a large impact on the take-home pay that people pay. I don't know that, I'm not promising that we can do anything about any of this, but I think we should be comparing ourselves to our competitors in these two areas as well. So I was going to offer that as a second amendment, because in my mind it's pay and it's benefits. And so I wanted to do one amendment for pay and another amendment for benefits. I compartmentalize it myself that way. So, but I am also willing to wait until the second reading on that if that's the preference of the mayor as chair of the board.
So it's just helped me understand it, make sure that we have all our ducks in a row and I's dotted and T's. And I think what you're offering is very reasonable, and I think I'm probably going to support it. I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything or doing anything we have to fix a couple weeks from now.
Okay, do you have a specific question?
So, no, so I was just asking if you were okay putting it off for 2 weeks.
I am okay with that, yes. And I also want to say to Alderman Dixon and Alderman Goodwin that I'm really happy to have this process clarified and codified. I just, I want it to be really thorough. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Collins, thank you. Let's go to Alderman Sassy. Oh, sorry, Jesse, did you need to add something?
Was there an amendment?
There wasn't. She's going to wait for 2 weeks and work with staff to write it up. Did you need to add something, Jesse, or?
I was just going to mention that the HR staff has already developed an RFP to go out. That's just kind of waiting in the wings, and a benefit survey as part of that RFP survey to get a separate cost on that. It's something maybe we might do in-house if the cost is really high, but it is something that we were planning to kick out with this, and certainly we can incorporate and do a study.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Alderman Sassy.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to echo that. Thank you for bringing this forward. This is incredibly important. codifies the process for our pay studies, and I fully support that. And there's just one piece that I do want to offer amendment for, and that is, I hear you, Alderman Goodwin, on the 4 years. But the current code says with review of the plan at least every 5 years. So we could do it every 4 years if we elected to. When we were creating the budget, we can budget a certain amount to do a pay study that year if we feel like it's relevant. I don't feel like reducing that by a year actually benefits the city, because if we're in a point that we don't see any reason to have a pay study after 4 years, where things are looking as they should for the city, I just don't know. We're basically forcing future BOMAs and city administrations to do these very expensive pay studies every 4 years instead of 5, when if we wanted to, we could still do it every 4 years if we saw the need was there. So my amendment would be to actually change that back to 5 years, and let the future BOMAs make that decision on their own.
So Alderman Sassy, help me out. Where would that go?
That would be in number 4, 4206, number 4. And it says, with review of the plan at least every 5 years. That's crossed out, changed to 4 years. I want to change it back to 5 years.
Okay, hold on. Do we have a second? We have a second from Alderman Evans. Okay. So we're going to speak on this. Alderman Dixon, do you want to speak on this? Okay, Alderman Goodwin.
I would like to leave it at 4 for the simple fact I don't want us in the mess that we just got ourselves out of. I think there's too much flexibility if you leave it at 5. Too much time to go by, too many things happening. If a new board comes in and doesn't like it, they can always go back and change it. But I'm afraid we're going to get back into the same scenario that we just got out of. So I would like to leave it at 4. I think that's reasonable. I think we need to invest in our employees. So I would like to leave it at 4.
Alderman Goodwin, thank you. Alderman Evans, did you want to speak on this? No, Okay. Alderman Bergdorf, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Under the, what are the costs associated with this pay studies, Jesse? And are we doing them in-house? Are we able to do them in-house and save more money? Because I know they were expensive.
They are, yeah. You're probably north of 100, and the more complicated they get. So when we start to look at all the multiple factors, it gets more expensive.
Are we not able, as a department, do we not have the capacity to do this pay study?
It's pretty challenging to do it timely. We don't necessarily have staff who aren't already busy with all their day-to-day tasks. It does give us a consultant who does this for a living, so they know things, they are exposed to things that we aren't. And so it also puts us in a position of a department maybe is not being framed as, hey, you didn't do a good job on the study, or you guys slanted the study or something. And so for that reason alone, I really like to outsource it to a company who's kind of seen a lot of different pay studies, and they can also propose. And a lot of times we get into a study, we're in a pay structure, and that seems normal to us. They have a broader view and says, hey, you know what, this could really work well with, kind of where you guys are and where you want to get to. So I think there's just a breadth of experience that a consultant has that we necessarily wouldn't have in-house.
Just as a point of reference, how much was our pay study in 2023? How much did it cost us?
Almost 75. Yeah, 75,000. We did not do benefits. Yeah,
So
we did some of the work too.
With benefits, as Alderman Collins is recommending, no, well, I'm not pointing you out, but as
Yeah,
with
it's,
benefits of some of the other
it's gonna
aldermen
be
would like to
more,
have. It's
so
gonna-
the way that it's structured, that we have the
So we're
proposal
looking
to
at
go out
$100,000
structured
as a close guesstimate.
is we're adding for that add-on. What's the add-on cost to do benefits as a standalone? But, I don't know, it's hard for me to put a price tag on it, but I would think 25,000 at least to do a benefit. Yeah, maybe 25,000 or more to do the benefit piece of it too.
So when is our next one due?
Well, we were actually waiting to get some clarification on this. We have the RFP, our request for proposal, ready to go out. We just wanted to make sure we were close to having this kind of buttoned up before we sent it out, and then had to change it up on them. So we hope to have this finished around the mid-year budget so that this could be a consideration at mid-year budget. That would be the goal.
So are we looking at allotting an additional $100,000 to the mid-year budget to initiate?
We included it in the fiscal year 26 budget,
Okay, that's what I thought.
so there's no budget amendment that's required as part of this. And if we don't have the budget to do benefits as a part of this, we're going to consider it doing that in-house.
Okay. And so again, so you're thinking of doing the next payroll study when?
Like we are ready to send the proposal out. We have it
2027,
drafted.
2026? What are we doing?
Do it this year.
2026?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, to have it done, I think the timeline shows the complete wrap-up in March is our schedule. The beginning of March, it's done.
In time for next year's budget.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we could have it maybe a little sooner, or we delay mid-year to include it, but potentially we could wrap it into the mid-year budget ordinance.
Okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on the amendment?
I want to know if citizens are going to see this.
Does anybody else wish to speak on the amendment?
I want to know if the citizens have any involvement. I want to know if you're paying.
Alderman Dixon, would you like to make a motion? Alderman Dixon, would you like to make a motion to recess? for a
Let's
second?
recess,
We have a
please.
motion to recess for a minute. Do I have a second? Alderman
Second.
Martin makes a second.
Second.
All those
Thank
in
you.
favor,
Thank you.
please say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, please say no. We're going to recess for about 2 minutes.
Unanimous.
Okay, thank you. So anybody else wishing to speak on the the amendment to go back to 5 versus 4. I should say the amendment to go back to at least 5 versus what it currently has on the main motion is at least 4. Any other discussion on that? Okay, Jason, you ready for us? Okay, so pressing the green button would be at least 5. Pressing the red button would be at least 4. So, okay. So voting yes for the amendment would be a green button, at least 5. Voting
You can go
no
ahead and hit the green
against
button.
the
Just hit the green
amendment would be the red button, at least 4. Yes, okay, so that fails 6-6 unless somebody's screwed up on the instructions. Okay, look at what the screen is, make sure that's what you voted. Okay, so here's who I have voting for it. Alderman Bergdorf, Skidmore, Martin, Sassy, Collins, and Evans. Voting against it are Alderman Ward, Garza, Dixon, Goodwin, Garden, and myself. Does that sound correct?
Where's Eddie?
Okay, so keep it there, Jason, because Annette needs to get that. So, okay, hold on here. Here, I'll read them again. Voting for it, Bergdorf, Skidmore, Ward, I'm sorry, voting against, voting for it.
For it, okay.
Bergdorf, Skidmore,
Okay.
Martin, Sassy,
Abstain.
Collins, and Evans.
Okay.
Against it, there we go. Against it, I can keep reading. Ward, Garza,
You want to change your vote, right? Just kidding.
Dixon, no, Dixon, Goodwin, Garden. There's only one time, and myself. Do you have 6-6?
6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes.
Okay,
got it,
so
got
that
it.
fails 6-6. So, okay, so Alderman Evans, you had your button pressed. Did you want to speak on the main motion? That fails 6-6. That's to pass. Go ahead. Alderman Evans.
Yes, thank you. I had some questions, Mr. Eckenroth. It really has to, and first of all, I want to say for Alderman Goodwin and Dixon, thank you for this. I think this is needed. I'm glad that we're doing that, but I just had a couple of thoughts. Number one, you were talking about the RFP and said it's ready to go out. Is there an opportunity for us to even look and see what that RFP looks like? What does it look like? What are we asking them to do? Are we telling them, is it basically what's here in the ordinance?
It's much more detailed than what's in the ordinance.
Okay. Not sure I want to study all that, but here's why I'm asking that. Because, number one, what other criteria did you look at beyond these things? And I heard you say that they may come up with some other criteria that we didn't think about. What are some other things that maybe you looked at and decided not to put in this ordinance? Was there anything else?
Yeah, I think there's some, well, I guess this is going to be for the repetitive, kind of true us up to the market. So I think once we establish a structure, which we kind of have a structure of what we already do, and that's part of what's hard when you go out for a pay consultant is you have hundreds of employees who are ingrained in a certain structure. Mm-hmm. And when a structural change is proposed, it can be very expensive, which can be hard to do budgetarily, and it can be very difficult to implement. So we are asking for recommendations for improvements, but we are also asking that they would have to provide a transition plan to something that's substantially different.
Okay.
Because if they, like say for example, they say, hey, you should go to a 4-step system or a 5-step system, and we're on a 17-step system. Right. We can't just flip a switch tomorrow and do that. So there's a lot of those things. There's, we're looking at exempt versus non-exempt, where the threshold is for those types of things. So there can be a lot that we get into. And then based on the price and the cost of it, we might also have to see where, maybe some of it we can do in-house, maybe some of it we can do as a standalone. But it will be much more, there's much more information than what's in this ordinance. But the ordinance kind of gives us at least a framework.
Okay. Well, you're telling me this, and now I realize I know there's a lot of complexity to this, because you want to make sure that you're really getting down to the root of it. You're wanting to be able to look at base to base, because I'm imagining that when you go and talk to these other cities, are they making sure, like Alderman Collins was mentioning, are we making sure that it's a base rate to base rate? What are they what they're giving to us, we have to make sure it's not including these other supplemental things that, you know, we would be comparing it to. So I get that. Who will be involved in establishing the comparable cities? I know that's been a point of contention and conversation. Who makes that call? Is it the consultant? Is it going to be Director Gallo and you? Are we going to include department heads in what other cities we might include there? Again, I'm not looking to add a whole lot of complexity, but I also want to make sure that we're being fair and that we're including other cities that are comparable.
Yeah, so based on, I think, BOMA's involvement in this, it would probably be something I would vet with BOMA.
Okay.
Before it would go out. Just, I mean, if we're going to spend the money to do it,
Okay.
it's less efficient to do it that way, no doubt, but everyone can kind of see, it may be that not everyone agrees. It may be that
Sure.
not all department heads agree. But we have to land somewhere.
Sure.
And we have to move forward at some
Okay.
point.
Let me add to that. And the more cities that we want to make comparisons to, the more expensive and the more hefty the whole
Sure,
comparisons
sure.
get. Not necessarily a bad thing. But I have asked the staff to focus on the cities where we are losing employees or we're competing for employees.
Right.
Those are, that seems comparable. And we offered staff and aldermen to tell us some of those cities of what they are, and we'll do that again.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you. And I like the criteria here too. Population, all these things do make it, enter into the decision of which city you're looking at. We don't want to be comparing to a smaller city that doesn't have the complex issues that we may have. So I appreciate that. What, I had one other, I guess that's, that's all. I think that's it. Thank you.
Any other conversation, any other questions? So we have not made any amendments to this, and we're on first reading of ordinance 2025-12. Jason, ready for us? All those in favor press the green button. Those opposed press the red. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Now we're on first reading of ordinance 2025-15. And Alderman Collins, thank you for holding off. I'm sort of looking at the time as well. So, first reading of ordinance 2025-15. This is an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 3, Section 4-304 of the Hendersonville Municipal Code, approving a pay criteria for lateral transfers within public safety departments. Alderman Goodwin, should I can make a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Garza. Alderman Goodwin, do you wish to speak on this?
Sure.
Go ahead.
This was brought about to help police and fire get people that may be already certified and want to come from other departments. It gives them a 2-to-1 for their service that they've served with other departments so that they don't come in starting at the bottom. Jesse, did I make that clear enough?
Appreciate that. Any other discussion? Alderman Collins.
I'm so sorry, but I would like to amend this to say up to 2-to-1, just to clarify that we're not obligated to do the 2-to-1. And, where does it say that?
Where would we do that?
I don't know.
You gotta help us out a little bit.
Hold on, it's here somewhere.
The section 1 at the bottom, another page before.
Page report. Oh, yeah, I found it. Thank you, Terry. Section 1, it's, the ratio says 2-to-1. Services from other agencies at up to 2-to-1 ratio. We talked about that a little bit in committee, and the reason I feel that way is because I don't think that police work from a really rural community or even a very urban community like Chicago. It's a different type of policing, and so their experience may not really translate. So I just think giving us the option to go up to 2-to-1 instead of 2-to-1 or none.
Alderman Collins, we'll work on some wording here, just a second. So, here. does it make more sense to say, where it says agencies at A and add maximum of 2 to 1?
Sure.
Okay. Who, do we have a second? Okay, so we have a second from Alderman Goodwin. Does that make sense? Okay. Good. Add a maximum of, so we're adding maximum of. Okay. Any other discussion on that? Alderman Bergdorf on this amendment? Go ahead.
Clarification, maybe to this amendment, I'm not sure, just clarification. The section 3, I read this, it says, nothing in this ordinance shall be construed to create an entitlement to employment, compensation to any specific pay grade. Application of lateral transfer credit under this section shall be made solely at the discretion of the city and is not mandatory. So when we go in here and we put, what was the language?
Maximum of.
Maximum of, is it necessary? I just want to make sure that I'm clear. That it can go, why are we going to, I guess the question is, if we're seeking police, why are we going to hamstring ourselves by only offering this much if it's a particular candidate that's exceptional? So that was my question. So why we put that in there? Or does the section 3 allow us to go beyond the 2 to 1 max? I guess you can answer that, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't mind taking that.
Thank
So the way that it's structured right now, it is set up as a 2 to 1 maximum. It doesn't specifically say it's a 2 to 1 maximum. Like it's inferred it's 2 to 1 maximum.
But with this amendment, it would be.
It would be a maximum of
It would
2
be
to
a
1,
maximum of
but
2 to 1.
there's nothing in this that would provide for greater than 2 to 1. Maximum clarifies that
Okay.
it's the maximum, but I don't think there would be anything to construe greater than 2 to 1.
All right, I was just seeking clarification regarding that, and I would hate to lose an excellent candidate at that point. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Bergdorf. Alderman Collins, anything else on this?
No.
Okay. So right now we have an amendment that's been seconded. About that. Okay. Bottom of page 53, the second to the last line, from other agencies at A, we would add maximum of 2 to 1 ratio for limited purposes. Going on from there. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. So we have no's from Alderman Bergdorf and Alderman Sassy. Anybody else? Okay, so that passes with majority vote. Alderman Collins, I'll come back to you. Anything else on the main motion?
No.
Okay, appreciate that. Any other discussion on ordinance 2025-15? Jason, you ready for us? All those in favor, as amended, 2025-15, please press the green button. Those opposed, press the red one. So that passes unanimously. Now we're on to Resolution 2025-30. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute a contract with the state of Tennessee to participate in and offer city employees the medical insurance plans offered to political subdivisions through the state office, and to establish the city's contribution rate for the employee medical insurance plan. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin and a second from Alderman Martin. And without objection, we're going to add Alderman Sassy and Alderman Bergdorf as sponsors. Alderman Martin, go ahead.
Can you add me to this too?
Without objection, we're also going to add Alderman Martin. Alderman Goodwin.
To be added as a sponsor.
Without objection, we're going to add Alderman Goodwin. Any others? Alderman Garza.
Let me add me to the group there too.
Without objection, we're going to add Alderman Garza. I'm waiting for somebody to object. Alderman Dixon.
Add me as
Same
a
thing.
sponsor.
Alderman Garden. So without objection, we're going to add Alderman Dixon.
I had a hearing.
Dixon and Garden, yeah. Okay, Alderman Skidmore, would you like to?
Me too.
do that? Without objection, we're going to add Alderman Skidmore.
Thank you.
We have not heard from a couple people. We'll just leave it. So here's what we have. Myself, Alderman Sassy, Bergdorf, Martin. I can't read my writing on this one. Goodwin, there we go. Garzon, Dixon, Garton, and Skidmore. Okay. And Alderman Collins, okay.
Evans, I don't want to be left out.
Okay, and Alderman.
You have to add
Are
Ward.
we up? Do we have everybody?
Gotta add Don.
gotta
You
go,
can't
Don.
leave Don out.
Oh, Alderman Ward is not speak. Okay. Without objection, is that everybody?
Except for
Except for Eddie.
Can
Boy,
we vote Eddie
this is what
in?
happens when.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so everybody is a co-sponsor, I appreciate that. Eddie doesn't have a chance, this is only a resolution. So, all those in favor of resolution 2025-30, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Gotta appreciate very much Jason and Amanda and their staff and Jesse for the amount of time they put in this. So next we're on to other agenda items. Alderman Bergdorf, we don't have anything else on the agenda right now, other agenda items.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry. I was.
Okay. Okay. So, Chairman Sassy, Finance Committee, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. We met tonight, right before BOMA, and discussed Resolution 2025-30, which is the resolution to allow the mayor to enter into a medical agreement with the state of Tennessee, participate in their plan, which we voted on tonight. And everyone signed on to it, I guess. I just want to say I was the first one.
No, you weren't. I was the first one.
Yeah, okay, all right, you got me there. Then we also had reading of Ordinance 2025-16, ordinance amending budget, the budget to recognize and compensate the Hendersonville Fire Chief for certain vacation carryover in excess of the maximum carryover. And we also voted for recommended approval for that, and that will be in front of you in 2 weeks? I believe so.
No, 4 weeks.
4 weeks, thank you. In 4 weeks, and that concluded our meeting. Thank you.
Chairman Sassy, thank you. Chairman Skidmore, Public Works, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just real briefly, we had a resolution that's coming before you guys, 2025-29, which is a resolution to apply for a TDAC stream and wetland grant for various public works projects. It's an 80-20 split, so our split is $50,000 to it. It's a $250,000 grant, so I'm real pleased with that. We voted in support of it. That'll be coming in 2 weeks. And then we have our trash collection update. It was kind of slow, to be honest with you, our trash collection, but it's because we had a broken down truck. So we've got it back going now, and so it should pick up. Then we have an issue that's coming back in our next monthly meeting of Indian Lake Road and Lake Terrace Drive, about trying to slow people down there with some signs or whatever the committee decides to do with that, along with Public Works Department, and that's coming back next in a month. Our CMAQ funds from the synchronization project, when we get them back, or when we get the funds back, then we go to contract on the light program, so we're doing well there. We'll continue on with it. Also on our paving, we've done over 11 miles. I know that doesn't, a lot of people just say, "Oh, that doesn't sound a lot," but it is a lot. So we're about halfway through with our summer paving, street paving. So I wanted to let you know where we were on that. And that is the end of our report, Mayor. But we just like to say that we hope that our colleague Eddie Robertson has a safe trip home, and I hope he gets here safe. Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman Skidmore. Next, we have a Bowman report.
It's been a long meeting, so I will keep this short. If you do want to look at the paving that Chairman Skidmore talked about, you go on the city website. We have an active map, and we're even showing what's getting paved every week. So Casey's been doing a great job of keeping that updated. The BOMA report is static. These get updated every month. We did talk about adding some criteria or some analysis on the human resources section for police and fire. So that was emailed out to you earlier, but just to remind everyone, right now in police, we have 11 in training and 13 vacancy positions. So that vacancy number has dropped a little bit from a couple weeks ago, so that's good news. But that's all I was going to share tonight. That concludes my report.
Jesse, who's the stranger over your left shoulder that we haven't seen in a little while?
Oh, Mr. Jay Ritterbeck, it's great to have him back.
How is he doing?
Excellent. Just today, Keith said, geez, I need to have Jay back at City Hall, so it's great to see him here.
Jay had some serious surgery. Alderman Garza, you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick, and maybe Casey and Jesse, you don't have to get up. We've got a lot of blasting going up in Forest Retreat, and Sarah sent me a little nice thing, because it's, the state does the blasting rules. Could we put that on our city website somewhere?
Yes, sir. It's if you go in and type in blasting on the city website, it'll pull up the information.
That simple?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll put that on my Facebook page. Thank you.
Alderman Garten.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn from Alderman Garten. Second. We have a second from Alderman Evans. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. That passes. So we have a no from, who do we have a no from? We have a no from Alderman Bergdorf. So that passes 11-1. We're abstained. Thank you all.
We missed Jesse's